everybody, welcome to... Oh my God, it's fucking Mickey, dude. Jesus Christ. Right from the fucking beginning of the episode.
Hey, fellas.
Gee, Mickey, come on, man. You can't sneak up on people like that, Mickey. Come on. You know that's scary. You're a scary guy, Mickey.
How's it going?
It's going fine.
How are the two of you doing today?
Mickey, do you genuinely care how we're doing?
I hope everything's happy and filled with sunshine.
But do you really feel that way?
No.
Okay. That's a moment of...
You're on business.
Rare moment of candor. Okay, go ahead.
You see, as you know, DFF being a wholly owned subsidiary of Disney Corp, I am entitled to know what you're doing for shows before you record. And, well, I checked all my points of contact and didn't see that any of you had run by tonight's episode.
Yeah, we're just going to do it a little bit looser, more, improvisational style, kind of like keep it loose in general.
Look, Mickey, we normally prepare pretty hardcore, but Mulan just came out with streaming, and of course we all picked that up for $30,
yeah.
plus our Disney Plus subscription, of course. And so we were just very busy late in the night just watching the movie.
Which was brilliant, by the way.
And Disney products.
That would be great. You know what, Scotty? That answer would be A1 great if I was a dumbass who didn't know when he was being condescended to.
What do you mean?
The truth of the matter is, boys, is that you've neglected to tell me what you're doing today. You've neglected to run your ideas by Mickey, and Mickey is disappointed.
Okay. Sorry, Mickey.
Maybe you should, Mickey, I think in Florida, I don't know if you live in California. I don't know where you live, Mickey, but maybe you should look into some legal marijuana products.
You know where I live, Scotty? Inside of you.
Well, then you should be fine. Then you're getting your dose. You're getting your dose every day.
Yeah, you're fine, Mickey. You're fine.
My dose. Yes.
One
Anyway,
second.
next time, if you guys could give me a heads up before you do an episode so that I can give my mousy thumb up or thumb down, that would be great.
Sure thing, Mick. You got it, buddy.
Sorry, I'm late, fellas.
That's okay.
What's going on?
Nothing much.
Our friend Mickey, just seeing how things are going with him.
What did I miss anything?
You have to run all your epised ideas by Mickey before you come out to them with us, because he was not too happy about this episode.
No shit. You guys didn't?
No.
I
really wasn't aware. It was maybe a need to know basis sort of thing.
I mean, I hope you guys handled it okay. I don't know.
Don't worry. We threw you under the bus. We just said, look, it was all Paul. I don't know nothing about this. Paul said it was fine. Talk to Paul.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, he said Paul's really calling the shots around here. If you didn't get informed about the episode, that's on Paul, Mickey. Sorry.
I do appreciate it, guys. Really do appreciate it.
Sorry, Mick. Sorry,
Thanks for having my back.
You're welcome.
I mean, always. I mean, look, I know how to throw people under the bus, Paul, and believe me, we threw you under the bus.
Oh yeah. Not only we throw you under the bus, we fucking made sure.
The pressure coming in, I felt the heat, the temperature starting to creep up, and I'm like, oh shit, what can I do? Pivot to TJ, no one's ever believed TJ mastermind anything. Paul's not here. It was Paul that done it.
So we threw you under the bus, and then we fucking put the bus in reverse and ran you over again.
Fuck. Okay,
we bus fucked you.
Damn.
Just over and over. Forward, reverse, forward, reverse, forward, reverse. Basically, you're just like a fucking pile of mashed Paul on the sidewalk.
Oh, this will be my last show.
Mashed potatoes.
I'll be dead at the hands of a Disney assassin tonight. I'm surprised I'm not already dead.
They don't usually assassinate. They usually just re-educate.
$30 from Mulan, Paul. Oh, I didn't pay. I was gonna wait for.
Yeah, you should probably go and sign. If you don't have Disney Plus, you should definitely sign up for that and buy Mulan 8 times. Maybe he'll forgive you.
Maybe. Probably not.
That's got to be verified purchases, Paul. You better be fucking shilling for Mulan too. You better watch the movie if you really want to survive. In my opinion, not only do you buy it, you go out there and you're like, guys, look.
I would just take every spare dollar you got and go to that Disney store and just stock up and just surround yourself with Disney merch and just be like, please, Mickey, forgive me. Well,
that way, if the assassin wants to cut you, if you have a bodysuit made out of Disney merchandise, Mickey will be like, what? Don't. like he's not gonna let.
He's not gonna let them cut the Disney merch.
I think that the mistake that you guys are making in this advice, and I do appreciate it, I think you're mistaking Mickey for an entity that has pity.
I don't think he'll have no. I would never think Mickey has pity, but as long as he views you as a fucking loyal Disney consumer, I think he'll spare you out of a desire to make you his workhorse.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but there's a guy that actually came from the future, and he gave me some advice about Mickey. That's what he told me. He said, "Listen, understand. Mickey is out there. He can't be bargained with. He can't be reasoned with. He doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear, and he will not stop ever until you are dead."
Wow.
And that was a guy living in the Mickey Mouse sort of dystopian future where like it's just Disney Corp everything. So I mean that's just friendly advice, guys, from a guy that came from the future. And told me this.
That's a great speech, by the way, from that movie.
What movie is that from again?
Terminator.
Oh yeah.
Kyle Reese speech to Sarah Connor in the garage when they're hiding out. She's trying to escape him because she thinks he's crazy because, obviously you would think someone's crazy that laid that on you.
Yes, you would.
And he's just like makes his big like, he doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear. And he absolutely will not stop until you are dead.
It's a pretty accurate summation of the Terminator.
Yep. And then they fuck.
The first Terminator is just like an undervalued, underappreciated movie.
Then they fuck, Scotty.
Then they fuck, dude.
And then they fuck.
Of course, that's the only scene you care about.
He didn't realize that he was John Connor's daddy the whole damn time.
When he doesn't get sent back, then there is no John Connor.
So John Connor had to send his own daddy back to die. That's a mind fuck. Dad,
you need to go back.
Dude, that's an interesting thing to think about too. Like future come. Like, would that even would there be problems? Because of course, human beings we're constantly having little minor evolutions and
well, not only that, but like this future is fucking highly radioactive too, Right. Kyle Reese's sperm is probably nuclear.
So that future nut, like I don't even know if that would have worked,
Well, apparently it did.
I mean,
according
in
to the movies,
it did, but I'm talking scientifically. Like, have they done any studies on what future nut would do?
Are you trying to say here that you don't think the Terminator movies are scientifically accurate? Because
here's the paradox, right? Kyle Reese shows up, right? Saves Sarah Connor, fucks her raw, right?
Yeah.
And he leaves.
Yep.
But how does the sperm stay? If in the timeline when he leaves, he was never there in the first place.
Well, I mean, he doesn't.
He's behind.
He doesn't leave. He just dies.
Well, whatever. But I mean, he wasn't supposed to be there in the first place. So his cum, like when he
with time travel, like the paradox it kind of creates is obviously all these events.
Okay, so whenever I watch a time travel movie, I just have to accept that like it's going to be riddled with grandfather paradoxes, and there's no point even worrying about it.
Of course,
because I mean, like. Otherwise, all of them, every one of them falls apart if you fucking actually like ask yourself, like, but wait, if that future has to exist for this to happen, and then they undid the future by doing that, then how the fuck, So
right.
It doesn't. And then think about Terminator 2. If they go back and they know what's going to happen and they destroy Skynet, then it never happened. But the only way they were sent back is because Skynet invented. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and not only that, apparently the premise of the most recent Terminator movie, which hopefully will be the last, because it seems like the franchise is just well and truly exhausted and out of steam at this point.
Well, while you're saying this, I'm gonna see how much it made. That's really gonna determine
it flopped. I'm pretty sure it flopped pretty bad.
I don't think it did.
No,
I don't think it did, dude.
I thought
I'm not. Look,
I'm pretty sure it flopped. I don't know. You can check it out. You can go fucking look up the facts.
Right? It flopped.
Terminator.
I would say it's a flop.
What is it called? It's called it's not Genesis. It's the one after Genesis.
It's Dark Fate.
Dark Fate.
261 million worldwide. Budget on 185. So it probably made some money, but it wasn't a huge hit.
Yeah. So I mean, like they're not going to make another one. At least not for a long ass time.
That's still a lot of money.
Maybe
they'll make a good one finally.
Well, anyway, Dark Fate, I never seen it, but apparently the premise of that is that even though they change the future in Terminator 2, somehow like it's still fucked because like there's gonna like it's just gonna happen anyway. Like it's just destined to happen. So even if you don't,
it becomes like a fate thing. Like no matter how,
even if it doesn't fucking happen with Skynet, it's just gonna happen in some other way under some other circumstance. So
yeah, it's unavoidable.
So whatever. I don't know. It kind of is
lame,
silly,
lame.
I think they just like I don't understand some of these fucking film series like Terminator and Aliens. A lot of parallels there. I feel like it's almost like the same fucking deal with both those movie series. Like there's two good ones at the very beginning. Like the first one's good and the second one's good. And then every other attempt to make it work has just been dog shit. But maybe that just fucking enhances appreciation of the originals.
Here's why. Do you have a visionary filmmaker attached to the project? If yes, there's good potential. If no,
I think Alien franchise.
Well, Alien 3 did have a visionary filmmaker attached.
Well, that's the thing, though.
I studio so much, dude.
That not only that, I kind of defy convention when it comes to Alien 3. I think it's a good movie.
Yeah, I know you defend it and stuff. And
I don't think it's as good as Alien or Aliens, but I think it's a worthy successor. I think it's like worth watching. You know what I mean? It wasn't bad, and it's the third movie.
I would say it's tonally right. Especially if you consider the other two movies. I just feel like you can just tell that there was so much interference by the studio and ideas that wanted to come forth in the thing. That I think it was just kind of a mix and match of like, you know, the studio trying to salvage this project from a director that obviously is recalcitrant at that point to even want to work on it because his vision's not being done the way he had intended. Because we know David Fincher's made some great movies,
right?
But when you interfere that heavily with a film, it just reeked of that. It reeked of just overreach into an artistic vision. I'm not saying that maybe Fincher's version is worse. Who knows? Maybe if they let him run wild, it would have been a shit movie. But I don't honestly believe that. I believe a lot of times the business aspect gets too entangled with the creative aspect, and it's just it kills the property.
Okay, so the guy who did Dark Fate also directed the first Deadpool, which I think is a pretty decent movie. I don't know if I'd call him a visionary director, but like that's competently done.
It's a good movie.
The guy who directed Terminator Salvation, Mick G. Terminator Salvation, by the way, might be the most boring of the Terminator movies. I don't know.
Mick G is a fucking overrated fucking hack, especially during that time. He was taken seriously as a director because Salvation is garbage.
Yeah, let me see what his fucking. I mean, he's got a shit ton more producer credits than he does director credits, so maybe you should stick to that. But let's see. He directed that movie, The Babysitter, on Netflix. I thought was actually pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Maybe he's better. Is it a horror movie?
I guess he directed a sequel to The Babysitter that's in post production right now, so that might be cool.
Comedic horror movie.
Yeah, it's like a comedy horror. It's not like an amazing movie, but it's pretty decent. Terminator Salvation sucks. Charlie's Angels full throttle. Like he's done some dog shit. Looks like he used to do he's done a bunch of music videos and stuff from back in the day. He was like a music video director. But it looks like his movie work. I mean, I like his horror movie, The Babysitter. But I didn't think it was like amazing or anything. But that's his resume, basically. Now, as for Genesis, which may not be the most boring, but probably is the worst overall. Now, I haven't seen Dark Fate, so I don't know if it's worse or better than Genesis, but I gave up.
Dude, if I had to be strapped to a chair and had Genesis or had Dark Fate and I had to watch it like 100 times. Or
yeah, like which one would you choose? Would you rather watch Dark Fate 100 times or Genesis 100 times?
Oh man, they're both really, really bad. Fuck, dude, I don't know. It's like, do I want the fucking piss milkshake or the shit sandwich? God, I'll go with fucking. Fuck, I don't want to make a decision, but I guess I have to. All right, I'll go with fucking Dark Fate.
Okay, well, the guy who directed Genesis, Alan Taylor, looks like he's mostly a television director. He's definitely directed for some pretty good shows. He's directed episodes of Mad Men and The Sopranos and Rome and Game of Thrones. So I mean, like, I got to assume he's pretty competent, at least as a director. But when I'm looking at,
I've seen some of those shows. I've seen Rome. I've seen a couple.
When I'm looking at his film shit, it's like, let's see, he actually doesn't have very many film credits. Like Thor: The Dark World, which was like the very middling second Thor movie. That was kind of just like, okay, disposable Thor movie.
You know what? He sounds like a very paint by the numbers kind of director.
Yeah, I'm assuming that this dude is like competent, but doesn't have much like of an original voice.
Thor: The Dark World was better than the first Thor by a country mile. The first Thor movie was like boring. He spends like 90% of the movie as a normal dude who doesn't remember who he is, doesn't he?
I think that's what happens. I'm not sure.
He remembers who he is, but he's lost all his powers.
Right. Gotcha. I mean, I thought I liked the original Thor, and I really didn't care for the Dark World much at all. But I can kind of see it. I mean, I don't think the first or second Thor movie are all that much to write home about. So.
No, they're really not.
I liked Thor Ragnarok because they kind of took it in a more of a like lighthearted galaxy, Guardians of the Galaxy kind of direction, as opposed to like the Shakespearean kind of like. I think it works better being taken a little bit less seriously. So yeah, I mean, I feel like Thor kind of came into his own as a character a little bit later on in his development, whereas those first two movies, I'm not sure that they either of them knew how to strike the right tone for me anyway.
I mean, by the time they got to the first Avengers movie, he was great.
Oh, so yeah. I mean, like, he was
problem.
Dude, he really shined as part of that ensemble. And I think that's why they've made him more of a team up character in recent, films and stuff. He works better with a strong supporting cast.
Hulk too. Hulk works better in a group as opposed to like, let's have another Hulk movie. It's like they've kind of done that, and most of those movies were kind of like, meh.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there is a fucking great Hulk film to be made, but I don't know. I don't know who's going to make it or if it's ever going to happen.
Hulk origin movie again.
No, we definitely don't need another one of those. I just feel like we need a movie that really fucking captures the essence of Hulk smashing shit. You know what I mean? Like, we just need a fucking real, like, smashy kind of movie that's just like 30, like, hour and a half fucking runtime. Hulk, maybe give him some kind of big monster to fucking fight. Don't try to make it anything deep or poetic or some meditation on, like, the dark side of the human Like, don't fuck with that. Just fucking Hulk smash,
Right.
Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I think it could at least be an enjoyable popcorn flick.
Yeah, it could be.
So I know we brought some stuff here today, TJ. What did you
Well, I didn't bring anything, but I do have a topic if you guys want to get into it. But
I didn't really plan or anything.
Dude, I fucking
didn't do anything.
I sat here for 2 hours last night trying to figure something out. I started like a million things. I never could get it to work, but I do have a topic if you want to have a topic.
Right, but fair enough, TJ. You get a D- on your homework.
But I know you pulled some shit, so let's coast on what you did, Scotty.
Yeah, look. If it's anything I'm good at.
I pulled shit too.
Well,
I'm not, Paul. I was not impugning your honor. I know you took it seriously.
All right, so you guys did well, and I fucking I don't know. I was fucking having writer's block or something, so I couldn't come up with shit. I tried to do
how sexist movies are, and here's how.
So this is a sexism, I guess, in movies based on speaking roles or whatever.
Sure.
This is in 2017, Hannah Anderson and Matt Daniels released an analysis of the dialogue from 2,000 screenplays on The Pudding. They categorized the dialogue for all non-trivial characters, 100-plus words, by the character's gender. 538 of these films had at least 200,000 user ratings on IMDb. So I guess we're not looking at all 2,000 of the films they looked at. We're looking at the ones that had at least 200,000 user ratings.
Yeah. Big movies.
So of those films, 496 films have majority male dialogue. 42 of those films have majority female dialogue. So obviously the vast preponderance of these movies are more, male centric in terms of the dialogue. So I mean, like, basically just the opposite of real life.
Right. So this is an interesting thing. It goes a little deeper than sexism, I think. I don't think sexism is necessarily all that's at play here.
Wow.
We're a sexually dimorphic species.
Mansplaining, Paul.
I mean, it's just true. Like in the past, it has been it's always been true that men have gravitated more towards entertainment positions than women have.
Sexism.
That's why there are more male stand-ups and why there are more male-centric movies and why there are more male roles than there are female roles and more male actors to fill those roles than female actors.
Wow.
The oppressor, Paul, no doubt.
I mean, this is a psychological thing. I mean, being an actor and a performer is a psychological underpinning. And I'm not saying, obviously, there are women that are interested in doing it, but I think the vast preponderance of people that seek out this type of job, if you were to look at it from a historical perspective, have been men.
Well, in fairness, a lot of times before, I mean, famously in China and other places, women were outlawed from being actors.
Right.
Sure.
So there is somewhat of a history too of women being excluded from the possibility of these roles.
In Shakespeare's time, female roles were played by men.
Yeah, so I mean, I think there is, if you go back far enough historically, a record of that. But obviously, we're talking about more modern times too. I mean, most of these films, I'm not sure if there's any that were not made in the last 100 years. I mean,
I wish this was a more interactive list so we could like click on it and be like, oh, this is this movie.
I like the outliers being Batman and Robin, and it's obviously showing by IMDb rating on the side here. And Batman and Robin obviously is a very low IMDb rating.
I don't think
The Help. Have you guys ever seen The Help? That's obviously female dominant.
I've never seen The Help. I've never seen the other. Well, I have seen the others.
I love the others,
and I have not seen Easy A either. So. But I have seen Batman and Robin, and I have seen The Godfather, though I need to rewatch it because I don't even remember the fucking thing. And then The Shawshank Redemption, I've obviously seen a million times.
I mean, that's a movie about a male prison.
Right. So, I mean, like,
I think it's more understandable, yeah.
There's like a pretty fucking solid reason why there's not much female dialogue in Shawshank
Redemption.
Redemption.
The Godfather is a movie about the mob, and the mob is not really a place for women in most, at least the Italian mob.
Right. Batman and Robin, I mean, Batman is a male character. Robin's a male character.
Gender should want to claim that one.
Yeah, I mean, like, you don't even want that. You don't even want that fucking movie.
Have you noticed the circle sizes? It says our number of votes on IMDb. So obviously these big bubbles are, even though, bigger films here.
Right.
Yeah, I do agree with you. But just one thing I wanted to show you guys, because I know we hear this a lot, in movies that, there's sexism.
So this is like percentage of female dialogue. So the one like Shawshank Redemption, there's pretty much almost no female dialogue in it. I know Lawrence of Arabia is over here. I don't think a woman says a single word in Lawrence of Arabia.
Maybe like a cursory line or two.
I'm pretty sure that there's no female dialogue in that movie at all.
Really?
I could be wrong.
I don't know. Yeah, but there's very little, of course. I mean, it's a guy on the desert with a bunch of Bedouins.
Yeah.
And, people in the tribes of that. Was he in Egypt or where was he?
Arabia,
dude. He's in Arabia.
Well, I mean, I don't know. What country is that? Is it, would it be Saudi or no? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Let's see here. British archaeologist, blah, 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 blah.
About a guy, and his name is T.E. Lawrence.
Yeah. Yep. Fought against the Ottoman Empire during the First World War, blah, 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 blah.
So it's like Turkey and shit?
Yeah, it's like Turkish.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Turks.
Fighting the Turks and stuff, and Syria. Yeah, so like Turkey, Syria,
okay.
Like that.
Turks.
The Turks.
Fighting them damn Turks.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is kind of connected to the "are women funny" argument that goes on, and like I've read some attempted kind of sociological, psychological reasons why there are fewer stand-up comedians or why people perceive women to be less funny overall than men.
Yeah,
has to do with like traditional gender roles and the way that we've developed differently in those genders and the roles that were expected of those genders going back into prehistory. You know what I mean?
Well, it's definitely a cultural reflection. Just having the historical aspect of it. And of course you're right too. I mean, if more men were encouraged to go into these things for so many years and had influence in these industries, obviously they're more inclined to tell male stories.
Look, I mean, it's a well-known scientific fact that humor is stored in the ball sack. You know what I mean?
That's true. Humor is in the nut.
Yeah, most 90% of humor comes from the ball sack.
Scientists have studied it. They put those balls under an MRI, and the human gene is right there.
That's why if you got like a really funny dude like George Carlin or something like that, or Bill Hicks, or whoever, Chris Rock, whoever makes you laugh, chop their balls off, not funny anymore.
I mean, if you look at like think about what the roots of comedy would be, in a prehistorical society, a Stone Age kind of society. Yeah. Our very, very oldest direct ancestors, like what are the root foundations of stand up, and I think it's storytelling. Like, honestly, I think that it's storytelling. And what this tells me is that maybe men were the primary storytellers in early tribes and shit like that. And that became kind of part of the gender role of, male and females of our species, is that men are the kind of storytelling gender. and our brains developed in order to be able to do that. And maybe women's brains developed in some slightly different ways. And you know what I mean? Like there could be an explanation like that. It doesn't necessarily.
We didn't write you down for a long time. That's how we communicated.
Right.
So, I know that a lot of times when women tell me stories, I get impatient. So, and I think it's because they, a woman, and not all women, of course. I'm generalizing here, but like, there's like, women have more of a tendency to like fill you in of like way more details that, like, at least to me, I don't consider important. Like, they feel like they need to provide a much broader and deeper and richer context into the story for the most part. Like, I feel like men kind of like cut more shit out, whereas women are going to talk more about like, you know, what emotions people were feeling and like what happened before that like got someone into this mindset or that mindset or like whatever the fuck, you know? Whereas male stories tend to be a little bit more like, here's the facts that happened. And if there's any sort of that like other stuff included, it's always just like to enhance like some sort of like joke or dramatic moment that's going to happen in the story.
Yeah, like you're telling a story about me, you're like, you don't know Scotty.
So Scotty, oh, you don't really know Scotty. So Scotty's like an asshole. Anyway,
yeah,
so
exactly.
It's like, you know.
Oh yeah, TJ, this guy shoved the banana up his butt on the internet.
Yeah. He shoved a banana up his ass. You fucking freak, real freak, man. Anyway, so he's in there. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you might give a little bit of that, but like when women tell a story, it's like, you know, and she was on her period, and you know, this had just happened, and her father had just died, and she'd been in an argument with her grandfather, and you know, whatever the fuck, you know. There's always like this like big contextual sort of like soup of like factors that are like, is any of this relevant to the story? I don't know.
We can speculate on that and look at this. Do you guys think this should shift though? Do you think there's an impetus to have like an arbitrary standard and say we need more? Obviously, because looking at these big major films,
I mean, I feel like this is already undergoing a correction anyway. Like, there's obviously been like a huge concerted effort to like have more female voices in movies and like, you know, shit like that. So I mean, like, I think it's already happening.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's happening. I don't think that you're going to see it flip to like a perfect 50-50 ever. Like, I don't think that that's going to be something that happens, but certainly like, you know, women have more of a presence in these types of entertainment jobs now than they ever have before. And
I mean, if we look at this stuff here, like all these movies here are like way more recent than these movies over here.
Sure.
Like, this is all shit that's like within the last like 20 years, I believe.
And I'd be curious to look at this done in 10 years from now and see like, hey, if we analyze the last 10 years, how does this chart stack up? Is it still like, whoa, it's almost, you know, overwhelmingly male still, or is it? I suspect you're right.
But
we've seen a number of these big films like Captain Marvel. People were talking about Black Panther instead of replacing Chad. Instead of doing that, just have it be his sister.
I'm honestly more in favor of that than I would be trying to replace him as an actor at this point, especially given like it seems like the people who fucking like were hit by this are hit like super hard. So I don't think it makes sense to replace someone that's that beloved in the role unless you're gonna like
people.
Wait,
that it's kind of like
time.
And then have the lead actor die and no one basically knew he had cancer. It's like that's such a crazy thing.
Oh yeah, that's fucking.
That was a weird thing for me. I just kind of kept quiet on it because I think the Black Panther movie sucked.
Right. And, I mean, it's like you and I really didn't care for it that much. So
totally valid point of view to have. I don't think anyone should be fucking for political purpose. If you don't like the movie, you don't like the fucking movie.
Right.
You know? But I can understand that it was culturally relevant to especially Black people in a way that it wasn't to me. And that might have added some interest had I been in that headspace going into it. But like just as a standalone Marvel movie, it's near the bottom of the middle of the pack for me in terms of entertainment value.
I'd put it kind of right there in the middle for me. I just feel like it's just like very kind of paint by numbers other than the black thing.
Yeah.
But hey, you know, whatever. I mean, if it fucking connected with it, I mean, like obviously it connected with fucking audience,
that's how I feel. I'm like, to me, it's not the best or most important movie, but you know, I'd look at the perspective of obviously like Black people looking at this, and many people in that community seem really excited, and it was kind of like a moment of pride and like joy, and to have someone taken away, I can see why it would be like more of a personal sort of connection where it's like, fuck, this really sucks.
I do still kind of wonder like why no other black superhero got that kind of reception. You know, it wasn't like Blade was an awesome movie, but it wasn't like, man, finally we got Blade or something. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I guess maybe
I think it's because at the time, I mean, comic book movies were just starting to kind of catch on, so they weren't really as culturally relevant. It was still more of neckbeard territory. But superhero movies are so mainstream, like they're the Western of their time. You know,
I think Black Panther took it farther than Blade did too. I mean, Blade is a superhero, but Black Panther was like about African people being empowered and having their own society, and there was a whole lot more racial commentary in Black Panther than there was in any of the previous.
Very true, because Blade could have easily been replaced with a white dude, and it really wouldn't make much of a difference. Like
it would make a difference to me because I think Wesley Snipes.
Sure, Wesley Snipes is awesome, but I mean, like,
awesome as Blade.
If if Blade had been, if like there was nothing in that movie that was like written black, is what I'm saying.
Right. No.
So yeah, I guess I can kind of see that.
And I think we're getting a new Blade too. So
cool. I'm assuming Wesley Snipes is probably not going to reprise the role at this point.
No, he's not.
What is this? This is
I kind of looking at this because it kind of brought me back. I was just looking at Data is Beautiful and other sites on the internet that kind of do these charts and stuff. And this is actually internet browsers from I think 1994 to it'll tell us here
96.
Yeah. Oh, Internet Explorer. Yeah, I remember Netscape. Everyone loved Netscape for a while. Nope.
Netscape is being eaten alive by Internet Explorer.
And remember, pause it here. Now, this is right around. Remember, the government started investigating Microsoft. Right. This is a big part of it. Internet Explorer, 95% market share. So at this point, clearly Internet Explorer is a monopoly because when you bought a Windows PC, what browser do you think came on it, guys?
Right.
And that was a big thing. So, I mean, if you guys bought a computer after a certain year, then they had basically you'd have a bunch of options. Like you can get Firefox and other shit. So for a while there, everyone just had Internet Explorer. There was not even another browser really.
Right, and there was no real reason not to use Internet Explorer at the time. It was pretty much like it did what you needed it to do. But then obviously Firefox and other competitors show up, and you can see Firefox arriving on the scene right here.
Yeah,
and for a while, it was so much faster too. That was a big deal. Like Internet Explorer was kind of bloated and lazy.
Safari
and there was no real
starts
competition.
There's Chrome.
Oh, dude! When Chrome came out, dude, I fucking love that shit. People were like Chrome sucks, and then Chrome just totally supplanted everything.
Internet Explorer making a little bit of a comeback. Nope, Chrome's eating it alive again. Safari's starting to get a dominant market share.
That's probably because of iPhones and shit.
And then Edge comes out, which is basically the Internet Explorer replacement. So Internet Explorer is defunct. Edge really doesn't do much.
Just maintains. Wait. Obviously not. No.
So Internet Explorer comes back after Edge. Opera, Safari, Chrome. I use Other. I'm on Other.
Yeah. I'm an Opera user.
Yeah, I was on Opera for a while, but I could not get Opera to fucking stay stable on my system for whatever reason. So I switched to Vivaldi because it's compatible with Chrome shit, but it's not Chrome, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, like,
I tend to use Chrome or I tend to use Opera. Like, if the other ones like Firefox, I haven't used it in years. I used it back when when finally there was an alternative to Internet Explorer, and I was like, fuck, I'm so sick of Internet Explorer. But I only use that one. Edge, I have it on the PC, and every once in a while, some program that'll be the default thing, and they'll be like, come on, Scotty, use Edge, and it's like, no.
Edge is basically like Edge browser downloader. You know what I mean?
I'm surprised you don't use Edge though, TJ. Like you're an Edge lord. You figure Edge would be like.
No, I mean I've looked at it, and it doesn't seem like a bad browser or anything, but meh. You know what I mean?
Vivaldi.
I have Chrome, but only because YouTube won't let. I maybe it does in some others, but it won't let Opera like live stream anymore. It used to work like just fine. I used to be able to go to my fucking page and start a fucking live stream in Opera and everything was fine. But one day I went there and it just was gone as an option.
Oh, that's totally
so the story behind Vivaldi, the one that I use, is that I think it was developed by some people who either left, I can't remember if they left Opera or they left Firefox. They left one of those to go develop their own shit. It's compatible with all the Chrome like apps and shit, but it's its own thing. And the thing that kind of separates it from other browsers is like super fucking customizable, like down to the fucking gnat's ass, which I really like. So I was able to turn off a lot of annoying features of other browsers that have always fucking like bothered the shit out of me, especially when I'm trying to stream and stuff, like stuff popping up that I don't want popping up, and just
see, I I do Opera for the simplicity of it. Like, I don't need the crazy extra shit that a lot of these newer browsers. Like, I like the speed and simplicity of it.
Yeah.
It's just, it does what I want it to do. It makes sense.
Well, that's the kind of cool thing about Vivaldi is like, if I like a feature, I can keep it on. If I don't want a feature, I can just be like, get out of here. You know, I don't want you. You're a piece of shit to me, and I don't have any use for you. But yeah, this is pretty cool. I mean, you know, it's pretty crazy. I didn't realize that Chrome still had such a giant market share with all this competition, but I guess that's just how it go.
That's how it be.
Chrome is a bloated motherfucker, man. I would never use Chrome again.
And you know what's crazy is when it came out, that was the selling point. It was like, it's V8 Java engine. It's like, look, it's so much faster than all these other bloated ones. And now it's
like the most bloated turd in the fucking punch bowl. So,
well, it's kind of like how, you know, when Walmart moves in your town, like you really want all those jobs and that business and all that shit. But then eventually, you know, of course, when they dominate the market, they can act however they want.
So here's the next chart. Oh, this is atmospheric carbon dioxide measured from the year 0 to 2019 AD.
Hail Satan.
Archangelo. There
it's
it
like
goes.
A coronavirus chart.
It's down. It's down.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Oh, no. It's up. It's up.
It's down.
Oh, okay.
Oh, why is it going up? Oh, okay, we're fine. We're fine. We stabilized. No,
right. We're about to hit the Industrial Revolution, and then I'm assuming we're gonna see this fucking thing just go.
It's gonna be just fine. Don't you worry. Yeah, look, we're down, guys. Look how down we are. Oops.
Toodly-too.
There it is. There's the Industrial Revolution. So like now we see that basically like all those ups and downs before were basically flat.
Yeah, they've been turned into tiny little barely perceptible hillocks.
Yeah. So and now skyrocket. Industrial Revolution until today. Just
looking at a fucking representation of Earth, and you can just see it, dude. It's crazy. It's like they started tracking, and it's like the red is the carbon dioxide and shit in the atmosphere. And when you look at it, just like every year, it's like, oh man, it's getting really bad. It's getting really bad. Oh fuck. And then it just gets to like the point where it's like people that are denying there's a problem. It's like you're just going to be like, how could you can see the evidence right here in front of you. It's like, and you look at this chart, it's like, so this is parts per million of carbon dioxide. You're talking, we're roughly around 290, 280, going for thousands of years, la, la, la. Then we hit the Industrial Revolution, the Industrial Age, and we go from that to roughly about, I think we're over 400 parts per million now. You know, and every year it just goes up and up and up and up and up. It's like, what do you think is going to happen? I mean, it's like, and you see the short amount of time we've done this, and it's like we're basically ushering in a new era of climate change.
No,
guys, usually either through a cataclysmic event or very gradually over millions of years has suddenly been accelerated. And
Scotty,
disastrous consequences is just naive. But
Scotty,
of course, you know, we're humans. We're short-sighted.
Scotty, but think about this. Let me ask you this: have you ever considered this? Here's my rebuttal to what you just said.
Fair enough.
Okay. Nuh-uh.
You know, I've never considered the nuh-uh argument.
Fair enough. I mean, I feel like, you know, both sides have made some decent points here.
Debate over, Scotty. Debate over.
I heard your side, Scotty. You got this evidence, other whatever bullshit, you know, losers basically believe in, I guess, suckers like to call them, people that believe in science. And we got TJ here, who has illustrated his argument very succinctly that, nah, bro.
I mean, Scotty, think of this. Look at this. Like, you could say a lot of stuff.
Hey, bro, you want that to be a long
science?
Winter? No?
Science can say things, Scotty, and science can produce charts, and science can fucking talk all this shit about too much carbon fucking dioxide in the atmosphere. And
well,
you know,
talking about that, they're observing reality,
right?
And
They can do their little observations. They can look through their fucking telescopes. They can look at their microscopes, and they can fucking they can draw a little chart out, and they can fucking we measured this and we measured that. Well, you know what? At the end of the day, let me just ask you this, Scotty. Okay. You know, no, dude.
You're making a statement. That's not really a question.
I'm asking. Question mark. Nuh-uh.
Question mark? I don't know.
Nuh-uh.
No.
Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh.
Well, TJB, one thing if it was just one person saying this and one person's data and one person going,
Oh, okay.
The sky is falling. The sky is falling.
So I guess the more people. Argumentum ad populum, huh? Argumentum ad populum. The more people say something, the more true it becomes, right?
It's not an argument because it's not saying that there's people are just simply saying it. It's saying that multiple people are observing the same evidence in the same.
I can defeat your argument with something that's on the screen, Scotty. You're trying to claim that this is multiple people's data visualization by who? Ben Gregory.
Yes.
Sounds like one guy's data, Scotty. This is one guy's interpretation of the data. And, maybe he's right, but he's probably wrong.
Mm-hmm. So what do you guys, in fact, think is happening? You think this line is pretty much just flat and he just drew a pretty graph?
I think that we've been lied to and that we actually want more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. And we should all be celebrating this as the new era that we've brought to the earth and not
the jellyfish epoch.
Yeah. Yeah. We're handing things over to the algae.
Yeah, algae, the jellyfish, they're gonna do great. They're probably like, you know what? This human activity, this is beautiful.
Man, these oceans didn't used to be acidic, and I could barely, set up a little colony. But now the whole goddamn thing is acidic.
So, I went ahead and I looked up this Ben Gregory guy who made this chart, and I found a picture right here.
Oh my God!
Yeah. And he's a registered sex offender, Scotty.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's a registered sex offender.
What do you think? What do you think about that?
So this, you bring this chart in here. Little did you know, this chart is made by some registered sex offender in his basement.
Well, I mean, even if that's true, the chart is still valid.
Oh, wow. Defending sex offenders now. All right. I see how it is. That's fine. Well, you know what I say to your chart, Scotty? Nuh-uh. I
prefer charts made by non-sex offenders personally. But
Amen.
But,
Amen.
Correct.
That is, by the way, just in case anyone out there is really stupid, that is not Ben Gregory. And Ben Gregory is not, to my knowledge, a sex offender.
I think you guys like this one, dude.
What is this one? Oh, the Blockbusters. Oh, hell yeah. This is great. Okay, so they start in Texas?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Okay, cool. All right.
So this is August 1986. We're going forward now.
Oh, wow. Look at that. They're spreading.
Like
87, 88.
A couple years. So when we get to 90, pause it, TJ. So let's just
get to 90. We start 90, pause it.
Yep. We start off in just 1986 in Texas with a few stores. I think 5 or 6 stores. In 1990, April 1990, 1,100 stores. It looks like in almost every state.
I mean, look, it's like ubiquitous. I mean, like, I'm looking for a state that doesn't have one. It doesn't show Alaska and Hawaii on here. It looks like even these states that kind of look like they don't have many, like still like have, there's like one on the border there. There's one on the border there.
Yeah.
I see one there. I don't think I see a state that doesn't have one.
No, everyone's got one. At least one.
And they're all throughout the South, and they're all throughout California and the West Coast.
Yeah.
A little sparser in Oregon than they are in Washington and California, but still a shit ton of these things.
Most people on the West Coast live near the coast.
Right. And they just keep spreading, keep growing. More and more cropping up all over the fucking country. Just like, wow.
Oh, dude, California is just becoming completely.
We're past 2,000.
A fucking yellow blob right now.
We're coming up on 3,000.
When we get to 95 pause it real quick. So I was actually working for Blockbuster during most of this time here.
During 95?
A little dot there.
Yeah, one of those little California dots, huh?
Yeah, I worked for Blockbuster a little less than a year. It was, one of my early jobs. I got hired at 16.
But here we see 1995, 3,010 fucking Blockbuster locations in America.
In a short 9 years.
Oh, yeah. Just like in practically no time. These things are spread across the country. And this is like, remember, too, this is not like the only chain doing this. Like, there was like Hollywood Video and like some other shit that was out there that was like national chains as well. Blockbuster was the biggest, of course, but it was not the only one. There was like competition in this fucking marketplace. So we're seeing 3,000. Are we gonna hit 4,000?
I mean, I don't see why we wouldn't. It looks like we're on track. I mean, this shit didn't start falling off till the early 2000s.
So here we are in 1999. We have over 4,000 stores, and they're literally just like, they're just peppering the entire United States at this point. They're just everywhere.
Even like these very rural states are loaded with Blockbusters.
Yeah, like even like in the middle of fucking bumfuck, like there's like Montana has several Blockbusters at this point, you know? This is all up in this shit.
Yeah, the East Coast is just completely yellow. The West Coast and all the major metropolitan areas completely yellow. Texas
is swamped in them. Louisiana's swamped in them. Like the whole South Florida is fucking drowning in Blockbusters.
Like an infection on its dick or something, dude.
This like upper East Coast region is just like dense with them. I mean, unsurprisingly, because the population there is so high.
As we know, what goes up must come down.
Now are we gonna hit 5,000 before the decline? Yeah, we are. Yeah. So now we're at 5,000 of these fucking things. And
that's in 1 year. So Blockbuster at this point is just like,
yeah, they went from like fucking.
They're not going to keep growing. They need this massive level of growth. They're so
meteoric. It's just like ascend. Oh my God, so many stores, so much money, so many locations. I'm seeing a slowdown.
But still, it keeps going.
Still going pretty strong.
I mean, the economy was not that great at that point. There was a recession, but it still keeps going. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're about to hit 6,000 maybe. Oh, nope. It's starting to decline.
Nope.
Not ever going to get to 6,000.
Nope.
Now we see the slow.
Oh, now they're going away.
Here's YouTube coming onto the scene.
Under 4,000. Netflix and YouTube and all the streaming shit.
Oh, yeah, but by now, streaming shit is starting to really become ubiquitous. So we're in 2010.
10 years ago.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. Now they're going fast now.
So now, pause it, TJ. Now, some states like Montana, all their
they're fucking Montana ain't gonna block. This is Montana, right? I'm not retarded. Okay. Whatever the fuck this state is,
North Dakota,
pretty much no Blockbusters. Still a decent chunk. You can still find a Blockbuster on the coasts, and like you're still probably if you live in America, there's still chances that in 2012 that you could still go to a Blockbuster if you want to.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's still there. There's still one reasonably like close to wherever you live, but that's about to change. I mean, we're in the hundreds now. I mean,
it's so dramatic, dude. Like the rise, but the fall is even quicker.
Yeah, the fall now. Like there's like a handful of stores hanging on. Like the original Texas stores, maybe because it started there, seem to be holding on a little stronger. Louisiana's got none. There's like a smattering over here and like a little tiny bit in Oregon.
Yeah, Indiana's got a few. Texas has a few.
The ones in Texas are vanishing.
No. They keep falling.
16 stores, 12 stores, 10 stores.
Texas, no.
5 stores, 4, 3, 2, 1 store.
And to this day, there's actually only one Blockbuster left in the country.
And it's in Oregon, huh?
In Oregon, yeah.
I know there was one in Alaska at one point, too, but that one closed like a year or two ago. So there used to be 2. Now there's only 1 left.
It's kind of a cool relic, dude.
It's crazy stuff. And, the crazier thing, and I know this story has been repeated ad nauseum, is that, when Netflix first started, they went to Blockbuster and were like, we could do this service for you. We could like get in a business together. And Blockbuster's like, we don't need that shit. Fuck off. We're Blockbuster.
Faded sort of rip-off attempt of Netflix. Like, we'll send things to the mail. But it wasn't, I mean, Netflix already had that market cornered. Going and physically getting media was just gone. It was like, and a big thing that Netflix sold people was like no late fees. Because growing up, like everyone, I mean, you guys know this so well. You didn't get your movie back on time. It's like, yeah, I want to rent 3 more movies. Oh, yeah, I see you didn't return, this movie and this movie. Yeah, you kept Aliens for a few too many days. That's going to be like $14. Oh, plus another $10 to rent those movies. There was such an extortion to renting fucking movies.
Dude.
Yeah, remember how much more generous their policies got as streaming shit started competing with them? They were like, rent it as long as you want, guys. No big deal,
Remember they translated to a plan where you could have 1, 2, or 3 movies out at a given time for as long as you wanted. And all you had to do was bring one back and get another one. You know what I mean? And you paid a flat monthly fee.
Right. So all of a sudden they got real nice and generous with it and stuff. Like, hey, yeah, whatever you want. We're cool. It's like too late, bitch. You guys have been competed out of the market. I mean, like, it's just so dramatic. Like they're there, they're on top, everyone loves them, you know, and then just gone.
Have you ever seen the anime Death Note, TJ?
Yeah, I've seen Death Note.
Okay, well, yeah, that was the first time like I realized streaming was a thing. So I remember like it was right after a dad died. I was like, I want to watch Death Note, and I'm like, oh, I guess I'll have to buy a fucking DVD and all this other bullshit. I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna spend so much money, and it was like, oh, you can stream it. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
What's a stream?
Stream. And then the minute I learned what streaming was, I was fucking done. And that's why this shit was done. That was probably like 2008 or 2009. Yep. I mean, it's just so much better. You're not paying these fucking fees. You're not dealing with fucking waiting in line for some smarmy asshole to check you out. Because a lot of video store fucking people that work there were fucking total cocksuckers, dude.
Oh, yeah. People at video stores could be
assholes.
Dude, like, I'm kind of sad the video store, like, I never had, like, a video store job because I would have been perfect as, like, the snob at the video store that, like, looks down at you for your purchases and shit. I could have done that.
I got to tell you, though, dude, that I thought the same thing. Like, I was like, it's going to be so fucking, like, working here is going to be cool because I'm going to get to see, like, all the shitty movies people get. But the novelty of that wore off in about, like, 3 days.
Yeah, so then it's like, oh, wait, this is a job. This sucks.
Yeah, I don't care what movie people are getting anymore. I just want to get them out of my face. Boop, boop, boop. There you go. Thank you very much. Next.
Next. Get your fucking movies and go.
Yeah, that's an ideal checkout experience at the video store, though. Like, oh, you know the other thing is, because remember, like they had popcorn and snacks. They're always trying to upsell you. Like, if you can get a bucket of popcorn, 2 candies, a drink, and 2 movies for this.
Oh man, you know what would have been great though is telling people they have late fees and shit and watch them get all pissed. So like, you actually have.
That was horrible.
You actually have $70 in late fees. What? Yeah, sir. I'm sorry. It looks like
a lot of times people would come up and they'd hand you the movie, right? And you'd scan their little Blockbuster card, and it would come up that they had another movie still at home that was overdue. And you'd tell them like, "Hey, I can't rent you this movie until you bring us back, you know, Gone with the Wind or whatever the fuck." And uniformly, they would say, "I don't have that movie anymore. I brought that movie back. You guys made a mistake." And it's like, all right. I mean, that maybe that happened, but you still have the movie, and we you know, you've got to pay the fucking late fee before I can let you take another movie. You know, there's nothing I can do for you. So yeah, there was a lot of anger, and that was really Blockbuster's fault with their stupid draconian 3-day rental.
Yeah,
policy.
and it's just the fact that they rolled out such a more forgiving policy when they were fucking up against stiffer competition just shows that they never had to have that draconian bullshit in the first place.
They were screwing you over. I mean, that's probably a significant chunk of their profit came from late fees.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude. Remember for so many years, airlines, it was like, you don't pay baggage fees, you don't pay for this, you don't pay for that. But then they just realized, like, wait a minute, we're doing the business all wrong. Like, people want ultra low fares, and then we just fuck them at, like, afterwards. Like, yeah, you got that seat on the plane. You don't get to select it, though. Wait a minute. You know, businesses will do whatever. I mean, the long and the short is businesses will do whatever they can get the fuck away with.
So here's another little statistic thing Scotty pulled.
I just like this because I mean, people talk about like gaming and stuff in the sense that like, oh man, this used to be the core of gaming, but gaming's done nothing but fucking grow in popularity, and that's kind of thing like I had to kind of remind myself of is like looking at Sega and Nintendo 64 sales, I mean 32 million, but look at the PS2. Look at the PS4, 110 million.
Yeah.
Interesting thing on this one to me is how dominant the original NES still remains on this list. The original fucking black and gray Nintendo Entertainment System from 1985 is still middle of the pack. You know what I mean? That's crazy.
I mean, when it came out, I remember that just being like, people were amazed by it, dude. It was one of those things where it's like, and everything else that followed, because like our parents kind of got used to it, but it was like just having the portability of that system and the fact that it was like to them and like our parents, that was just crazy shit. It's like, you can do what in this game? Because they remember these arcade games. And if like you've played like 1970s, 80s arcade games, like,
yeah,
they're nothing compared to that.
They're very rudimentary and very simple. And then, you know, all of a sudden you've got these games with stories and characters and games that it takes you 30 hours to fucking complete and crazy RPGs where you collect, you know, items, and there was nothing like it. But it's crazy to me that it's still middle of the pack after all these years.
PS2.
I'm looking at the Xbox One. The Super Nintendo sold even more than that. I mean, oh man, I love all these systems for the most part. I mean, I've never been that big into Xbox, but the fact that the Super Nintendo and then NES have held up so well. Yeah, that's something I took note of too. The original PlayStation, man, the PlayStation is a fucking beast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
there's
some systems on here that I've owned that I think were really good systems that are just not.
Seems like a lot of people just kind of skipped over the PS3 though. I mean, it's still fucking well represented there, but like, you know, the PS1, PS2, and PS4 being like in the top 3 slots, you know?
I've owned one of each PlayStation console that's come out. I've had a PS1, 2, 3, and 4. I had an Xbox, like an original, the big chunky Xbox, which ain't, it's not even on here. So I guess that's not shocking. I guess not a lot of people had it. I had one. I had an Xbox 360, and then after that, it kind of falls off for me. I never got a one. I never got an X-Bone.
Yeah, I have one of those somewhere collecting. I have one of those somewhere in my house collecting dust. I don't know where it is.
I prefer the PS4 just vastly. It's just a way better product as far as
I just don't game enough to bother with one of these fucking systems, honestly. Like, I have a Switch somewhere too. I've pretty much never used my Switch. I've pretty much never used my Xbox One. Like they just like they don't get used.
Believe me, I know that was your fucking wedding present. I spent $550 on buying you a Switch and all those games.
I think I played it probably like 5 hours or something.
You're just not someone, I guess at this point in your life, like that was just a phase of your life. Like I think that's why it was associated with it for so long, was like, I honestly believed you like gaming. And I think now it's like, you're just at a point where maybe there's a game you'll play in the future, but it had to be like the most interesting game to you in the world.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't like what games, I don't like the directions video games have gone. I don't really care for like the approach to the fucking craft anymore.
You have no desire to play the ones you do like.
I don't like a ton of like new games, but I've remained pretty consistently like, a hobbyist or whatever you would call a gamer or whatever, like since I started playing games, there's never really been a long stretch of my life where it wasn't part of my hobby.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I miss it, but at the same time, like I don't know.
Like right now, TJ, I got to tell you, like it's an exciting time to be a person that's into this shit, because a lot of the Blockbuster stuff that comes out is very rote and predictable and samey, but like there's a lot of indie game developers now making some crazy games that are pushing boundaries and that kind of appear more retro. Some of them do, they're like in a more retro style, and some of them are just, completely off the wall, different types of video games that you've never played. So it's a lot of fun right now. There's a lot of crazy shit out there.
Yeah, I always tell myself like I'm going to try
VR stuff. That seems super interesting. Like the game's like super hot and stuff, and then what you can do with like the new Half-Life game they're developing. Like there's a lot of interesting stuff that's being developed just purely in the VR space as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've said to myself several times I want to get back. That's the whole reason I asked for a Switch in the first place. I'm like, oh yeah, I want to play the new Zelda game and all this stuff, and like I don't know, it just didn't cast no spell on me. I was just like, this new Zelda game kind of suck for me. I don't really care about this at all. But whatever, I guess maybe there will rise up a game that convinces me.
There's new consoles coming soon, TJ, so maybe you'll buy one of those.
Maybe I'll just waste more money on another fucking dust collecting console.
Hey.
Or get Scotty too.
Fuck you, TJ.
Yeah, maybe I should fucking hook that Switch back up, but
maybe I should.
I don't even know where the fuck it is.
If you end up not wanting it, let me know and I'll buy it off of you.
Yeah.
Because I've been looking into getting a Switch eventually, and fuck, dude, you ain't gonna use it.
I totally recommend the Switch, and now that's kind of been out there for a while. They have a ton of classic games and shit on there too, as well as all the new ones.
Yeah,
I had a Switch.
I do enjoy Breath of the Wild. I don't know, TJ maybe is a little bit different on that. I think it's a pretty good game.
I don't know. I just got fucking upset with it. It pissed me off. But maybe I'm just like maybe I'm just too rusty or whatever. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I fucking spent like an hour trying to fucking hunt a goddamn boar, and I was like, man, fuck this game. I don't feel like fucking sitting here boar hunting for an hour.
In Breath of the Wild trying to hunt a boar, you suck.
Yeah. Like, so I mean, I'm just no good. So I mean, like I don't feel like learning. I don't feel like getting good.
Dude,
I'd rather just be like,
dedicate yourself to it, man.
That was weird. I remember back when we were in Washington, I walked into the room one time and TJ was playing The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, cool, TJ's playing like a modern video game. And I sat down next to him for like 5 minutes and I had to leave. because it was like watching my grandma play a game. He was like bumping into walls and like, how do I move? How do I duck? How do I shoot?
That's my problem with these games. There's like too much shit. I can't figure out all the fucking controls. They want me to like have like, they have like some convoluted menu system and shit. I'm just like, eh. I remember when fucking A was jump and B was shoot. Like, give me a game like that. I don't need this garbage.
You play Fallout 3, dude. That was the funniest fucking shit. Like, you're like wandering through the fucking Capital Wasteland. You're like, oh shit, those fucking things are after me. I think it was one of the little bears or something. Like it was actually some weak ass enemy, and you're like, my teacher just kill him. You're like, it's not that simple, Scotty. I'm like, give me the controls. Someone just killed them all easily. I'm like, it's like, dude, TJ not that great. Oh, watching TJ play Doom, not even Doom Eternal. Watching TJ play Doom was like the most frustrating thing I've ever seen. Like, TJ, there's an item right there. God damn it, Scotty, I'm trying to play a fucking game here. You're missing obvious shit.
Yeah, I mean, like. That's the thing, though. Like, you fucking step away from video games for, like, 10, 15 years and come back, and it's just like, you don't even know what the fuck is going on anymore. You've missed, like...
I stepped away from computers for, like, 10 or 15 years and have gotten so advanced.
It's basically what happened. Like, they fucking passed me by. Because, like, I literally left games when it was like, jump, do this. You know, it was like there was buttons for jumping and buttons for action, and that was pretty much it, you know? And now it's like everything is like a fucking menu system and an inventory system. That's like when games started to get like that, that's when I fucking lost interest, when everything was like...
This is the thing, TJ. You need to let me or Scotty curate a few video games for you and actually try them, because like there are so many games out. Like, did you ever play Streets of Rage or those types of games?
Sure, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the beat 'em ups.
Oh yeah, I played that shit.
Rage 4,
PS4.
Yeah. Streets of Rage 4 just came out. I've got it on PC, and it's old school, just like that. You know what I mean? You hit one button to punch and the other button to fucking jump, and then there's a special move button that you hit, and that's it.
But you know, even playing those kind of games now I find that's like kind of just like too boring and like rote. It's like, all right,
you are unpleasable.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no point. There's no point. I'm telling you.
Too complex. And then I'm like, well, they're making a lot of really simple controls.
Like, too basic, bitch, boring. Not enough variety to excite me, you know?
Unpleasable fuck, TJ.
I mean, I take a little bit of pride in it, so whatever.
Like, you just spent the last 10 minutes going like, man, I miss when games were simple. And I'm like, hey, games are simple again. Too boring. Okay. All right, TJ.
Oh, well, TJ, I'm glad the futility of this conversation has been revealed to me.
All right.
Cognitive dissonance.
Oh, I don't want to show this to Paul yet. Hold on. Paul, I want you to guess.
Uh-huh.
I want you to guess what the #1 state is. So this is coveting that neighbors. This is U.S. states ranked by relative popularity of cuckold searches. This is people jerking off to cuckold porn, okay?
I know for an absolute fact that this is somewhere in the South.
Yeah, now I confirmed that for you before we even started, and Scotty got a little mad that I even did that. But
you didn't tell me it was in the South. I said, is it
all the South? Don't think it's all the South, though.
No, I know. I don't think it's all the South.
That you'd be surprised.
I know that the #1 cuck state is in the South. That's what I know.
So you gotta ask yourself, which Southern state represents the most cuckold searches in America?
And this might be bad thinking on my part, but for me, I've got to think of like the Southern character, right?
Mm-hmm.
As I know it from these different states. Which one of those Southern characters values the principle of manliness the most? And in my mind, it's Texas.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, Texas has to be the cuck capital of the United States, because the men in Texas are, they're all like, they think they're all Texas Rangers. You know what I mean? So if they're projecting outwardly how secure they are, I know that when the bedroom door closes, they're sitting in the corner jerking off, watching another dude plow their wife.
Good guess, but Texas is actually in the middle of the pack at number 27.
I see.
Number one
is Alabama.
Jesus Christ.
Alabama.
Welcome to Alabama, boy.
Well,
Alabama, dude.
Good to see you. Want to fuck my wife? She's right back there.
Welcome to Cuckabama.
Holy shit.
The least cucked state is actually Hawaii, but the second least cucked state is California. So next time a conservative tells you that California is full of liberal cucks, let them know they're wrong.
Yep. Wrong, sir.
Nope.
Wrong.
Actually, one of the lowest cucked states out there.
Yeah, we can look at some liberal ones. Let's see. Washington, 38. Oregon, 36. Maine, 40th. Vermont. Vermont's pretty low down there, too. 43. New York, 44. Hey, to be fair to the South, Georgia, 45. So as in Georgia, don't try to fuck anyone's wife.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that in Alabama it's so popular, but like right around it with Georgia and Mississippi.
Yeah. Let's go to number 2, Nebraska. So, the Midwest too, man.
Nebraska is like people in Nebraska just like they want to be cucked, man.
It looks to me like the most cucked states are what Republicans would call real America.
Yeah.
Or forgotten America or whatever it is. You know
the
how they
flyover states.
A silent majority.
Maybe they should just start calling them the cuck states.
Come on over here and fuck my wife and give me some fiscally responsible fucking change.
I'm talking about middle America, people, where a man gets by on the sweat of his brow and his wife gets off fucking another man. You know?
I love it, dude.
Alabama, cuck state. Nebraska, cuck state. Montana, cuck state. I mean, in Montana, it's just like it's more of a matter of boredom. Like, they don't even have anything else to do in Montana but get cucked. They're just like, ugh.
I'm pretty bored. Want to fuck my wife?
We need to fucking figure out something to do.
Do you know what some of these states might say, though?
What?
It's like, yeah, they're searching for cuckold, but that's because they like to imagine that they're the ones fucking another dude's wife.
Oh, okay. Maybe. Sure. Whatever you got to tell yourself. Whatever gets you through the night, it's all right.
Yeah.
Step right up to the cuck tent, TJ. Don't be shy.
Step right up.
You're in Alabama, because you are in cuckland.
So, California, not many cucks.
A very cuckish place.
Texas, middle of the road with cucks, like right there in the middle of the pack.
There's plenty of cucks in Texas.
Yeah.
It's pretty cucked.
Well, it's only midway through the pack, so.
When you're in Texas, look behind you, because that's where the cuck is going to be.
Yeah. When you're in Texas, look in your bedroom, because that's where your best friend's going to be plowing your wife.
And in Hawaii, they're just like, they don't give a fuck about all that. They just want to eat spam and lay on the beach. They don't need all that cuck shit. Louisiana, where we live, number 13, pretty high up on the cuck list.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few cucks around here. You know how you can tell a cuck?
How?
Oh, I wasn't gonna explain it to you.
You just wanted to know if I knew how I could tell.
You can just tell, Dude walks up to you, like he's in front of you in the convenience store, and he's like, give me 2 packs of Pall Malls, and you're back there like, this dude's gonna go home and light one of those up and watch a black dude plow his wife.
Yeah.
Garen fucking Teed.
Garen goddamn Teed, boy. Garen goddamn Teed. Florida, of course, pretty high on the cuck meter. And I mean, it's pretty obvious why. A bunch of old couples, they've already experienced everything else in life. They're like, might as well see what it's like to watch my wife get plowed by another man. They're in God's waiting room anyway. They're just waiting to die. Need something to distract them.
Yeah.
These
poor flyover states, man. They're like, a lot of them are just desperate for somebody to come and deep dick their wives.
I mean, they're so bored there. There's nothing to do.
Goes all the people that would plow wife fly over it to plow wife in different places. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like maybe that's why there's
their wife.
Like, maybe they ought to start like a campaign. Like, not a flyover state anymore. Come here and fuck a wife. Nebraska has the second highest numbers of cucks in the country. That's right.
There's all kinds of sweet married pussy for you fucking alpha males to fuck here. Long as you don't mind me watching from my cuck closet.
Next time you're flying from New York to Los Angeles, consider a stopover in Nebraska. Take a couple of days, fuck a couple of wives, and head on to the West Coast. You're going to have a hard time finding that in L.A. L.A. is, the second least cucked city in America,
Absolutely.
That's true, man. You're going to go to L.A. and you're going to pull that shit and then be like, no, I'm going to go fuck my wife.
And that's that.
Stop over in Middle America and fuck a wife, won't you?
That's been Scotty's wild ride of data. Thanks, Scotty.
You know how Nebraska? What's Nebraska's like state motto?
Let's see.
The we exist state.
the police don't ignore us state.
I don't know what the fuck. I've never
Nebraska state motto. All right, the Nebraska state motto is equality before the law.
They're the what state though? You know how each state is like California's the golden state.
The Cornhusker state.
The corn is that what it is?
Yes. I'm not even fucking with you.
Just change it to the cornholer state.
Cornhusker state, dude.
They have a few of those though. The tree planter state, the beef state, the bug eating state. What?
The bug eating state?
This is probably a reference to the many bull bats that, fortunately for us humans, like eating irritating insects. I don't know how the fuck that becomes a state
Come to
thing.
Nebraska, the tree planting state. And
Nebraska states. Okay, so here's all of their state slogans because apparently they have more than one. Nebraska, possibilities endless.
That's good for fuckery.
The good life. Nebraska, ask about our state motto contest. What?
Okay.
Nebraska, home of the great cornholio. Nebraska, safe sex, we mark the sheep that kick. These are more like joke ones, but apparently they're here because they're at least colloquially used as like, for humor.
So
Nebraska, Nebraska, the N is for knowledge.
I like it.
I like it. Yeah,
I'm sure it is.
I dig it.
But this is like on a little Nebraska, but equality before the law is their actual state motto.
That's cool.
So
I pulled a little bit of stuff too. You guys want to move on to mine?
Sure, go ahead.
Got anything else to say about fucking somebody else's wife in Nebraska? Or
I mean, I thought we could maybe just go over different states' mottos while we're at it, but we don't have to do that if you don't want to.
If we were single, we could do a cool ass like fucking competition. We could all like fly to Nebraska. First one to fuck another dude's wife wins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just see which one of us could get it, but unfortunately,
some states don't even seem to have mottos. I think they all do, but some of them are in Latin, and then you have to translate them. I get it. Okay. Like Louisiana's is just in English. Union, justice, confidence. All right. Sure thing, Louisiana. You know what you're talking about.
Justice the American way.
Or I could just tell you. All right, so I'm going to tell you a fucking a state slogan. You tell me what state this is.
Okay.
Right.
By the sword we seek peace, but peace only under liberty.
I think it's Delaware or something.
I would say like Virginia.
It's Massachusetts, but you guys are right about being one of those early states, though.
Yeah, it sounds like an early state motto.
Yeah. Rhode Island has the lamest one. It's just hope.
Well, there's not a lot of room for a big motto in Rhode Island, you know?
Texas is just friendship.
Friendship.
Utah is just industry. Some of these states, they like just one word mottos. I don't know why Texas is friendship, but that's kind of lame.
And there's friendly people down in Texas. A lot of smiling faces, TJ.
And by the way, in the top cuck state of Alabama, the slogan or the motto is Adumus Jura Nostra Defendir. We dare defend our rights.
Oh. Well, look at you.
Good for you.
Shall rise again, just like the ass of that man shall rise and fall again and again as he plows my wife. Oh,
amen. Yeah. By the way,
like the bobbling ass of the man who I paid to fuck
and
my
Alabama is gonna be the uptight fucking state.
Yeah, it is pretty uptight.
I mean, like we went to the meetup in the fucking bars there and shit, and a lot of the people just like, God, you guys need to pull the fucking stick out of your ass.
Hey, Paul, here's a state for you, dude.
Oh yeah.
Labor omnia vincit. Labor conquers all things. Isn't that your whole plan?
Yes.
Yeah, so you need to move to Oklahoma, dude.
where the wind goes whipping down the plane.
I guess. Anyway, go ahead and share your shit, Paul.
So, ask you guys if you know anything about the term parasocial. I'm sure you've heard it, right?
I think I have. I don't really know it though.
I don't really know much about it, so I'm not going to say that I do.
I've talked about it a few times in my ideology streams. It came up again last night, and I found that I was mostly right about my assumptions about this idea of parasocial relationships and parasocial interactions, but I was a little bit wrong, and it was interesting, and I thought we could talk about it.
Okay.
So if you went looking for the epicenter of parasocial relationships on the internet today, a good place to start would be YouTube. So a parasocial relationship is a one-sided relationship, kind of like many members of our audience probably have with us.
Right.
We don't know them. They feel they know us. So that would be the dictionary definition or the easiest definition of a parasocial relationship. It's a one-sided relationship or a one-sided interaction.
Right.
There on YouTube, people post videos about seemingly anything and everything. Among the most popular genres on YouTube now is what's called unboxing videos, blah, blah, blah. We all know about unboxing videos. But apparently they are very, prone to developing parasocial relationships over crinky cellophane and squeaky styrofoam sounds that form a core part of the experience for many people. The host will talk directly to the viewers, describing each step of the experience in great detail. When the item is stripped of its packaging, they'll present the product to the camera while carefully narrating everything from how it feels to whether they think it was worth the investment. So I was under the kind of misapprehension that parasocial relationships were an inherently negative thing. It turns out I was wrong about that. It's actually a perfectly normal thing that I can guarantee you everybody on this show has engaged in at some point.
Oh, yeah.
So, now that we've kind of defined parasociality. Oh, shit. I fucked up.
What have you done? What have you done?
I had the wrong page selected when I tried to. Okay. So, my misapprehension about parasocial relationships was that it was always destructive to the person engaging in it, because they're not getting anything really back, nothing real. In fact, you TJ have a parasocial relationship with Marilyn Manson,
right?
I have a parasocial relationship with Bill Hicks and Kurt Cobain and a number of other people. Scotty with Ziggy Stardust, and we all have these, and it's a perfectly normal part of human interaction.
Right.
Where it kind of goes awry is when people do it exclusively, and that's becoming more popular these days.
So like when they have no actual social relationships other than parasocial relationships where they're just like,
right. They're fulfilling all of their social needs parasocially. So it's they're in a number of one-sided relationships, and they have very few or no people to confide in their real lives. And it's people that are in situations like that suffer from this.
Right, because it's kind of like you can't really get the full breadth of what you need socially as a human being by simply observing someone else that's never going to directly interact with you.
Right. So the phenomenon isn't necessarily new or particular to YouTube. It's common with another video medium, television, where people can become heavily invested in the lives of television characters, celebrities, and hosts, such as Oprah. For example, fans had to remind themselves that they didn't really know Oprah, and Oprah didn't really know them. So, some people know that at the core of them, and they realize that Oprah doesn't know them. And some people take it to a point where they start to feel like they do know Oprah, and that if she did know them, they would be the bestest of friends, and thus they are the bestest of friends,
Yeah.
And I don't mean to talk shit on our fan base, but I know you guys have experienced this from our fans in one form or another. Somebody will reach out to you with something that seems like it should come from somebody who you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
with your diet, or I'm really worried about your mental state, or I'm very, very concerned with this, that, or the other thing that's going on in your life, or you need to quit smoking, or you need to quit eating this, or you need to try this or try that, or move here or move there. These are all types of
like advice that we would expect to get from a father, a mother, a brother, a sister, a good friend, a business.
Or people even do the inverse too, where like they want advice on stuff that's like super like personal to them and shit, like,
and they'll reach out to you like they'll jump into it as if you already know the background to it,
right? Like we already have this like long standing friendship or something, you know. And it's like, whoa, why you're like, it's pretty heavy that you're laying all this on me, you know. Like people will come and like write like giant essays about, you know, here's what's going on in my life and all this stuff. So I realized pretty early on, like, you know, people do have this sense of like friendship and camaraderie with me, even though we don't actually know each other.
And, I've experienced it a lot, and I kind of first ran into that, and I've really never really codified it in my mind, so it's kind of interesting to me, was when we did this London meetup with DP, and people would say, like, man, I worked this long job, and 12 hours a day, and you guys, and like, basically all this, like, very flattering things about, like, we help them, and all this other stuff, and I'm like, and I kind of feel like I have imposter syndrome at that moment, because I'm like, I don't really feel like we deserve the credit for it. You know, it's like, I appreciate that, but like I don't feel like that wasn't what my intention was. You know what I mean?
We do this stupid show that you spend a couple hours a week working, but you're the one doing the heavy lifting and the
right.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've seen this on Joe Bob's show.
I can help you in some way, but that was never my intention. So me taking credit for it almost feels like wrong.
Yeah, I saw it on an episode of, I was watching Joe Bob's last drive-in show and stuff, and you know, one of the letters that was written, he doesn't like the touchy-feely letters of the people who are like, you inspired me or whatever the fuck and all this stuff. And it's not because he's not flattered by it. It's just that like he feels like people are giving him too much credit for stuff they did themselves, and like, you know, like people be like, oh, you gave me the strength to do this or that. And it's like, I didn't do that. You figure that out on your own. I don't really feel like my little show where I watch monster movies is doing that for you. But you know, it does kind of create like some awkwardness, I guess, sometimes, of like, you know, like, especially when someone's like way more emotionally invested in you than you are in them, and then you realize there's this like really lopsided kind of dynamic that goes on to some extent. And,
you know, for me, it was a hard learned lesson because I didn't come from this type of public facing life. I came from a life where I had a private life. I had private friends and private family and private coworkers, and these were the people that I knew. And I had a couple of online friends or whatever the fuck, but you know, that was that. And then all of a sudden I was on this show that a lot of people watched, and people were reaching out to me with this type of shit that we're talking about, whether it was, Paul, you know, you really helped me through this. And a lot of them were like, Paul, I really need somebody to talk to, man. I've literally got nobody to talk to, and I just feel this connection with you, and I feel like you might be able to understand. I'm a good listener. You know, that's something that I like to try and do for people. And so I would do that. I would say, sure, man, let's hop in a fucking voice chat real quick, and you can talk to me. And I quickly learned that if I wanted to do the job that I was hired to do, I couldn't do this other job because I would be doing it forever. Like it just literally, and once I'd responded to a person, I thought like, okay, yeah, you know, whether I typed text to them or had a short voice conversation with them and heard their problem and gave them a little advice or whatever, I figured like, cool, you know, social transaction complete, you know, happy that I could give you a little guidance or whatever. Hope you feel better. Bye. And the problem would be like the next day they'd be blowing me up like, hey, Paul, can we talk again? And it's like, all right, well, what do you got? And I'd do it, you know, and it would be the same shit. And I noticed what was happening. It was like, I wasn't looking for a friend. You know what I mean? I have friends, and I'm not trying to make a new friend, and nothing against the person, but it's just like me making myself available in that way, put in that person's mind that, oh my God, yes.
Well, the
this
thing
person that I watch is my friend.
The thing they don't realize too is
they
that
care
like,
about me. They know things about me.
Yeah, and
muted
plus,
there,
oh, sorry. Well, the thing they don't realize too is that like, you know, you're gonna get. They're not the only one out there. You know what I mean? Like, if you open yourself up like that, like eventually you're just gonna be you're gonna be overwhelmed by the amount of people that want that kind of advice or that kind of guidance and all this stuff. And it's like, what am I? I mean, I'm not even qualified to give guidance to people. I'm not a fucking counselor. I'm not a fucking mental health professional. I'm not any of these things. You know, I'm just another dude.
Right.
So it's kind of crazy in that regard too. And then like, you know, if you open yourself too much up to that, you know, it's just gonna be like nonstop, like, you know, dealing with other people's like problems and issues and like not even knowing if you're giving them good advice or not. But it just kind of shows you like the power you can fucking accrue as a fucking influencer or whatever, you know?
Sure. They started doing studies on parasocial relationships in the 50s using television as an example.
Yeah.
And while there were people that carried it to unhealthy levels there, it was more of a normal human thing. I mean, humans are naturally social creatures. We look to empathize with one another. And that's really all a parasocial relationship is,
right?
Usually. It's, an admiration for a person, a feeling that you've seen their art or their personality enough that you know them, and a feeling of familiarity with them, and an investment in their life and what happens to them and how other people perceive them. This is all normal stuff. It's when it, carries beyond that into the type of relationship where you're actively pursuing something that is never going to happen and you think it's going to.
Like I'm in love with this woman in a movie or something, or a TV show or a media personality, and she's going to be with me, kind of thing. Right. Or I'm like, look, I know if I get in contact with Denis Villeneuve, he's going to make me a writer on Dune.
Right. Exactly. That sort of thing. And that sort of thing existed back in the 50s, and they studied it as an extreme example of parasocial interaction and relationships. But you can imagine the internet, and particularly what we do, vlogging, I guess, would be the broad term for what we do, or podcasting. But TJ and I doing our like ideology style fan interactive streams.
Yeah.
And think about how much more of a window those people have into our lives than they did if it was, back in the day when it was like Cary Grant up on the silver screen that somebody had a parasocial relationship.
Oh yeah, it's way different.
They know us way better, or at least, based on what we show them, they know more about us personally and how we interact personally than, they would start. So this is something that's, it's on the rise, these types of parasocial interactions and relationships, and particularly the ones that are unhealthy for people. Where they take it to a place where, they're trying to fill a void in their life, and they're doing that to the exclusion of maybe being able to make actual friends.
Well, I know I've heard the studies have been done that, loneliness in many places in many parts of the world is rising dramatically, probably because, in a sense, I think people are kind of confused about the boundaries of these relationships, because it does feel very intimate and personal with a lot of internet personalities or entertainers or whatever, because obviously those barriers have come down, like you said, to some degree. And I think there's almost like a confusion in people's minds where it's like, that's kind of like, because I'm so busy and I'm trying to do all this other stuff, but then I'm watching these videos, and it's like, and a lot of times you interact with other people in a tertiary sense in that community, the more you get into it. So I think they might be confusing that with that, without saying like, hey, we're talking about this podcast or this thing we really love, but they're not really, in most cases, developing deep relationships in their actual physical space. I think there's something that's being missed out with that. If you don't have this physical relationship with somebody, you don't see how they're, there's just a different ineffable quality to actually talking to someone. Like, talking to you guys this way is different than talking to you in real life. You know what I mean? And as we all know each other in actual real life as well, then we notice the difference. Whereas like the slice I get from you and TJ on the show is way different than I would get, because obviously if TJ's not a talkative mood, he's not going to, if he's on a show, maybe he will do that. It's TJ, you never know. But usually he'll be like, I'm going to put something forward.
Right.
And we all recognize that it's much easier to do that because we know each other. But if we watch like Joe Rogan or somebody, I guess TJ, you actually have met Joe. But if me and Paul did, we might have a totally different, well, he might be like this or like that.
Right. I think a lot of people don't understand that what we do is a performance to a certain extent. Paul on the show is not exactly Paul in real life. Scotty on the show is not exactly Scotty in real life. And TJ on the show is, I'd say TJ is probably the most different of us when you look at his internet personality versus his kind of active and introverted nature.
People are like, I thought TJ is gonna be like so much more like this, or like people really think TJ is like this very like just. Before they only know of his social media stuff, like his internet videos and stuff like that.
Right.
They assume TJ is going to be like a Kramer bombastic, coming to the room, he's the center of attention. He's yelling, screaming, shouting, acting crazy, just doing whatever the fuck TJ does. And it's more like TJ shambles in, looking at his phone, like, "All right, TJ, this so-and-so. All right, hi."
Yeah.
And just like very disinterested, and
I mean, very introverted, you know, and in a lot of his life, and he's an ambivert, like I think all three of us are. But TJ definitely has an introvert streak that I think is stronger in him than it is the two of us. And you know, people don't know that. It's why I think when people meet TJ, they're kind of taken aback sometimes, especially in situations where TJ doesn't want to be performing. I've seen a few times when we're walking around places for meetups, somebody recognizes TJ. And, you know, I've been recognized a couple of times out in public and shit. And I'm always very, you know, hey, what's up?
Yeah, I'm like, how you doing?
TJ, like if you approach TJ and he's just like walking between this place and that place, you're likely going to get like, oh my God, are you TJ? Yeah. Dude, can I take a picture? I guess. All right, dude, man, I fucking love you, man. Thank you so much. Yeah. And then he'll just walk away. You know, like TJ's he's not out there for that. You know what I mean? And I think that probably throws people for a loop.
I don't know. The things TJ has done with in his social interactions with people, it just blows my mind. Like slapping people. Like some guy came around the corner, so I slapped him. You know, it's like, what the fuck, TJ?
Yeah.
What?
This is shit that I would never dream of doing, and it's just I don't know.
What are you talking about? Oh, the bathroom thing at the movie theater.
Like, I'll tell you one thing about TJ, Paul. Like, I might seem like the hothead like that, but TJ's way quicker to use physical violence than I would ever be.
Well, yeah. I mean, that just makes sense. He's a big, giant fucking ogre.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense.
If I had a fist like a fucking spiral cut honey baked ham, I'd probably use it a lot.
Well, wait a minute. What version of this story did you tell Paul? Because Scotty tends to fucking, you know, exaggerate stories. Because
what the fuck? I tend to exaggerate stories. TJ.
Yeah, you're just
I've heard the story before. So
okay.
he basically just brought up the story of you bitch slapping the dude in the bathroom.
Yeah, you walk on the you're both going around a kind of a blind corner. I think I'm not sure if you bumped into the dude or not.
Well, yeah, we bumped into each other, and I said, "Excuse me," and he was like, "Damn right, excuse you," or some shit like that. So I smacked him upside his fucking head. I'm like, "Fuck you, bitch." It's like, what do you mean? Like, why the fuck you gotta be rude? There's like bumping into each other happens. I say, excuse me. You say, you don't even have to fucking respond. You can just like give me a nod or whatever the fuck. You don't fucking come at me with some like bullshit.
Also, I think he was way smaller than you as well.
No, he wasn't that much small. He was an average size.
I mean, most people are.
I mean, he wasn't like tiny compared to me.
4 or 5 inches taller than them, TJ.
Well, yeah. I mean, he was an average sized dude. I mean, obviously, I'm bigger than he is, but like, all the more reason he shouldn't be talking shit to me. I wouldn't. If I fucking bumped into some dude who was 7 feet tall, I'd be like,
"Excuse me, sir. Pardon.
Excuse me. I'm so sorry." I certainly wouldn't be like, "Fuck you, bitch, bump into me."
And then you had to run out of the fucking building and fucking like.
Yeah, we didn't even go back to that theater for like months or whatever. Did we ever go back to that theater?
You were literally like ducking between cars and high shrubs and shit, TJ.
Yeah.
So I found this is from a more recent study on parasocial relationships, and there are a number of ongoing studies and even some newer ones. But I liked this one because I felt like this inverse pyramid model gives us a good visual aid into what types of parasocial relationships are totally normal and healthy for people to engage in and which aren't. You know, and it also I think kind of represents maybe not exactly mathematically, but the amount of people that have parasocial relationships and the amount of them that, you know, go too far with it. So entertainment and social is the top level of this. This is, you know, celebrity is a source of gossip and interaction. This is totally common. This has always been around. Even before television, there were celebrities. And this is the type of, you know, people gossip about, oh, did you hear what Princess Caroline did? You know, that type of thing is that's level 1 parasocial interaction. You know what I mean? The second level is kind of where I think, you know, your Bill Hickses and your Marilyn Mansons, you know, you have kind of this intense compulsive feeling toward the celebrity. You feel a connection with what they've done. You feel connected to their art or to their personality in some way that's very personal to you.
Right. And I definitely have celebrities I feel that way about.
Of course. So do I. Most people do.
Yeah.
Most people.
Sure.
Maybe some people don't give a fuck about celebrity culture or whatever, or have nobody they look up to in that way. But I'd venture to guess that, you know, a vast majority of human beings have these two levels.
I mean, yeah, they definitely have. Like, I mean, I don't know. I've never met a human being who was totally devoid of these kind of connections.
It might be like a scientific thing or whatever. It's like,
like think about it. Like even if it's a person in a third world country or something, say they attend church.
Right.
And they have a pastor who gets up in front of them and preaches. They may have that intense personal parasocial relationship with the pastor who barely knows their name or doesn't know them at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They may feel that pastor is very important in their life, or that pastor, you know, if they didn't show up for church, the pastor wouldn't even notice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can see how far down it goes. And then of course at the bottom of the pyramid, you have the uncontrollable fantasies and behaviors.
Right. That's like the guy who assassinated or tried to assassinate Reagan to impress Jodie Foster, or like the dude who broke into like Stephen King's house with a fucking box of like random debris that he said was a bomb. You know, like these people who.
Yeah, you see this all the time. Like that's why a lot of these super like, you know, fucking famous A-list celebrities have like bodyguards and shit, which we covered in the previous episode. Like, yeah, I need someone to keep these kind of crazy people away, because unfortunately, if like you're exposing yourself to 100 million people, there's a lot of people who have serious mental illness. They're gonna like latch on to you as like, oh, this person knows me and cares about me and wants to help me or whatever crazy bullshit.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if I have a whole lot more to add to the subject. I just thought it's an interesting thing. It's still not fully understood and not fully recorded. Like I said, there are multiple studies being done on this, of course, with the advent of social media and the internet and vlogging and all of that. You can imagine that parasocial relationships changed from the time where the silver screen and the radio and the TV were people's access. And then, you know, even going back farther, before TV and radio, you know, it was theater actors or authors or members of the aristocracy, or, you know, newspaper people that they admired, you know. So I don't know. I feel like I have a broader understanding of it, because once again, when I've talked about it in the past, I've always talked about it like it's a purely kind of negative thing. It's like, you're not supposed to have these one-sided relationships. You're not supposed to feel connected to people who you'll probably never meet. But, you know, in actually reading about it, I found that, you know, we all have that. We all engage in it. I mean, here's an example of an internet personality with which I have a parasocial relationship. This is Filthy Frank, who was popular for a long time on YouTube back in 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
I, you know, was introduced to his videos, and I loved his sense of humor. I loved the little characters that he played and how silly his edits were, and all of that. And I became a huge fan of his. And you know, I used to think like, yeah, man, I bet if I hung out with Papa Frank, we could make some cool fucking videos, and we'd probably smoke some weed together, and it'd be pretty cool, you know. Mm-hmm. And this is him now. He goes by the name Joji, and he's a mainstream pop artist, a very successful one. And he managed to transition from this character, which, well, not this character alone. This is one of his crazy characters, Salamander Man. But he was very like, I guess edgy is the word, spicy, maybe. Edgy. You know, he definitely was not making family friendly content, and
no, definitely not,
and definitely did not, you know, shy away from making controversial statements, and especially in the current climate of cancel culture and all that shit, call out culture, for him to be able to transition from this character to this character seamlessly, you know what I mean? You got to respect the dude. It actually added a layer of parasocial respect and interaction to me when he made this transition from this crazy internet character to a mainstream, you know, electronic pop artist. And it gave me more respect for him and kind of solidified that parasocial thing that I already have. Another example of a parasocial relationship for me, P.S. Hoffman, probably my favorite actor. You know, when he died, it was devastating to me, even though I never met him. I see a lot of myself in him, even though that may not be true. I like to imagine that he and I would have gotten along. I like to imagine that he and I shared some of the same sensibilities politically and otherwise. But, you know, all of that is parasocial. I have no fucking clue. I did not know P.S. Hoffman. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, it's crazy because actually, I did actually know Philip Seymour Hoffman. or Phil as his friends call him. And I asked him one time, I was like, so you ever heard of a dude named Paul's Ego on YouTube? And he's like, yeah, dude, total piece of shit. Yeah, so he did not like you at all, unfortunately.
Please tell me you're kidding. Please tell me you're kidding.
No, of course not. I would never. I don't. You know me, Paul. I do not joke. I do not kid.
You do not.
I do not kayfabe, sir.
Let me put my webcam back on here for this. So as you can see behind me, the Kurt Cobain, another dude that I have a parasocial relationship with. I bawled my eyes out when he died when I was a kid. I felt like he was a friend of mine. He was a person that understood me, even though he never met me. And I felt like he was even more so. And I think this is really where a parasocial relationship kind of gets things wrong sometimes. I felt like I knew him. You know what I mean? I felt like by listening to his music and the pain in it and the tone of it, and listening to the few snippets of interviews that he gave, that I knew him, and that he knew me. And that once again, that's a parasocial relationship. Here's oh shit. Well, I thought I had a full screen of this, but here's Scotty's. One of Scotty's.
Oh yeah, dude. I was so sad. Like it was like Alan Rickman died. Another parasocial relationship we can talk about. And then David Bowie died, and I was just, it was a devastating fucking thing. Of course, I never met him, and he hadn't performed too much of his music in a long, long fucking time.
Well, I actually have met David Bowie, and
before he died, you met Bowie?
Shortly before his death, and I actually got to sat down at a diner and have some food with David Bowie. And a lot of people think that David Bowie would be like really very like maybe snobby or something, or like have like a very high opinion, but honestly, he was a super down to earth guy. And I asked him, I got this brother named Scotty. He's like, yeah, I've seen Scotty. I've seen some episodes of Drunken Peasants and stuff, and Scotty is terrible. Worst thing about that show. And I was like, wow, that's kind of mean, David. That's my brother you're talking about. And he's a big fan of yours. He's like, well, I wish I had better. If I had better fans, then maybe I'd still be alive to this day. He said, and like he even knew he was going to be dead. You
know everybody, TJ.
I do. It's crazy.
And I do want you guys, like, if you have any other celebrities that you feel that you have this kind of connection to, it'd be interesting to hear you talk about it. Of course, I pulled the two that I knew would probably apply to you. Marilyn
Manson. Obviously, I'm obsessed with Marilyn Manson. So, I mean, like, that's totally fair.
I'm obsessed with Manson for years.
What level of parasocial relationship and interaction do you feel you have with Marilyn Manson? Like, I know it's not pathological. You're not stalking him.
I'm not stalking him, and I'm not, but like, it's at the point where I take a fucking interest in like what's going on in his personal life to whatever extent I can glean that.
Right.
I care about, I'm interested in what sort of relationships he has. I'm interested in like what sort of lifestyle he leads. I'm interested in like all that stuff about him. So,
how he dresses.
I'm interested in like what kind of fucking music he's making.
I'm responsible for Tita's obsession with Manson.
Who he's collaborating with at any given time. What kind of aesthetic he's embracing. What kind of projects he's working on.
Sure. Oh, dude, Paul, I can remember this shit. Like, I remember like TJ like got like I begged my mom to get Mechanical Animals when it came out. I got that. Like TJ before told me like music is lame. I do not care about it. And he was in there like listening to fucking Mechanical Animals, and he was like he just loved fucking the Shadow Manson. He was on this Manson forum for like 10 fucking years, just discussing all kinds of shit. We actually went to like an informal meetup after a Manson show, which of course TJ and his wisdom got completely wasted in a city he knew nothing about.
Yeah.
But like,
and then shouted racial epithets at like gangbangers on the street corner because I was drunk.
Yeah. But TJ has just been obsessed with him. It's like almost every time I come in when TJ used to, like when we worked in the same space, he'd have like a Manson forum up or something, like or Manson wiki up, like what's Manson up to? What's going on with him?
Yeah, I'm the same way now. I mean, like nothing's changed. I have like Manson news alerts and stuff. I make sure like any fucking news article that's written, any press, good or bad or whatever, written about Manson, I'm reading it.
I don't tend to form those kind of attachments as much as you, TJ, but I'll tell you one that
I can't think of any other celebrity I have that sort of thing with.
What about Doug Walker?
I mean, I still to this day watch any video he puts out as far as Nostalgia Critic goes.
I mean, you even made a video about that. I think it's a perfect, so it's like.
So I mean, I definitely like
Nostalgia Critic, but I've never had the level of obsession where you were like, oh my god, is it just because like you see Is that like some path you saw yourself going down? Or
something? Yeah. I mean, like, I liked what he did. And I mean, like, I think that he had an influence on the videos I did, you know. I mean, obviously I did something very different, but, you know, I definitely, like, I think he was one of the first people that showed me that, like, making videos online could be more than just, like, talking at the camera.
Sure.
Because he was, like, one of the first people I saw that did something different with it. Him and the James Rolfe, the angry video game nerd. Both those guys, like, some of the earliest, because, like, YouTube back in the very, very early days, and Paul will remember this too, is like a lot of dudes just turning on webcams and shit and just talking into them. So it was kind of
the amazing atheist.
It was kind of interesting to see people that were doing a little bit more with it, and, like, kind of you know, taking the medium to a different place. And I know that at this point that sounds like you know, that's just like standard, but you know, at the time it was something different. So probably something of that. And I mean, I think that Nostalgia Critic probably because you know, probably doesn't get enough credit for like the sort of, like, so many people who ape his shit now are like shit talk, like, oh my god, so cringe, so this, so that's. Like, man, you wouldn't even exist without the shit you did.
Oh man, you know what? I can kind of see the connection there, because I can see that same thing being said about you. So there's like a natural empathy of like, fuck these motherfuckers, rip TJ off.
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes that's how it goes, man. I don't know what to tell you.
I know you actually. I wouldn't say it's a totally parasocial relationship, because I know you have interacted with Doug in a few.
Oh, I mean, the only interactions I've had with him is I think we corresponded in email a couple times. I don't even think he knew it was me the second time I wrote him. I just thanked him for he raised some money for some charity, and I wrote him. I was like, you know, that's a good charity, because actually at the time my first wife, you know, she had a childhood cancer and stuff, and had gone to the, like, Ronald McDonald House for treatment, and he did a fundraiser raising money for that. So.
I gotta be honest with you, I got nothing but I still fucking hate your ex-wife for that fucking phone bill she left me with.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's neither here nor there, but yeah.
Well, whatever. I mean, like, I'm sorry she had childhood cancer, but that doesn't mean you should fuck me with a goddamn phone bill.
I'm just saying there's no relationship between the two things at all.
Yeah, there is, because you mentioned your ex-fucking wife, dude, which fucking pisses me off, because goddamn, I got left with a fucking $1,300 AT&T bill because she was on a damn island.
Yeah. Well, that was like 10 years ago or something.
I don't give a shit, dude. It fucked my credit up for 7 years. So you know what?
Sounds like Scotty may be nursing a slightly parasocially negative relationship with your ex-wife, dude.
Maybe. I don't know.
No. Can you think of anybody else, Scotty? Like, you know, I didn't mean to append Bowie to you. You're definitely not as prone to this type of flight of fancy as TJ and I are. But the reason I picked Bowie for you is because of that kind of beautiful eulogy you wrote for him in the Bowie episode that we did. There's no way that somebody that didn't have an emotional connection with David Bowie wrote that. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, sure, for sure, man. I can't think of many people that I would tend to. I mean, I've definitely seen myself do it with Joe Rogan. I've always liked his podcast. And obviously, it's not because I agree with everything. You know, it's like, oh, it's just he's always right about everything. I just like his work ethic and the fact of what he's done with his show, and you know, and I think it's just a very humble, you know, beginnings to go from there to there. And obviously, we're kind of in podcasting. I kind of like, but I'd say he's kind of the first person to make me realize, like, man, podcasting is actually a serious fucking thing. It's not just a fucking complete joke, you know. So I think there's kind of admiration there. And TJ go on his show, I'm like, that was kind of like, I was like really proud of TJ when he did that. I was like, yeah, it's a fucking, because it seems like a thing TJ would normally skirt around and not do. So I was, you know, I would say that's one of the people that an influence on me. Another one, Bernie. I definitely love things that Bernie's done. I mean, I was not a fan of, I don't always agree with him.
It's a great example though, because Bernie is the target of many parasocial relationships. I mean, I have a minor one with him. I love the guy. I don't know him, but I love him. He's a big old gray teddy bear that I just want to fucking hug and, you know, give him a big old kiss on his bald pate.
Give Bernie a squeeze.
I want to give him a little Bernie squeeze. You know what I mean?
Another one is definitely Arnold. I love a lot of shit he does.
Oh yeah, Scotty definitely had a fucking crush on Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, not,
oh yeah, I mean, what do you
not
mean?
like sexual, but like he definitely had like a man crush, or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
I mean, just the reason of just like someone's very determined and very successful, and I mean, I think that's something that I definitely look up with too in people because I think sometimes I have a deficiency with getting things done and see those people. It's like, look, you can say that you can't get shit done, but look what these motherfuckers did, and it was because that's what they wanted to do. It wasn't anyone forcing them. Having that strength of their character and determination to go out and do what they wanted to do. Like your dreams don't fall into your lap. That's something you have to make for yourself.
Yeah, Scotty definitely fucking picks role models that have like a lot of fucking like drive and shit like that.
Sure. So that's what I got for parasocial relationships. Thought it was an interesting little thing we could talk about, and it turned out to be, for me at least.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
And what do you got, TJ?
Nothing. But I do have
I ain't got shit, dude.
I guess I have a conversation prompt though.
I guess yeah. Well, let's see. Let's judge.
I guess I got something I can pull out my ass. So no, I had I guess two things I kind of was thinking about, but I don't know if either of them will be. I don't know. Well,
let's do it, man.
So the first one is
hold on before you do it, TJ.
Yeah.
I mean, this episode's pushing 2 hours.
Yeah.
So pick the best one.
Okay. Well, all right. I'll pick. All right. So the first one I had is I'll save that for another time. Maybe that can be researched a little better. But so here's the thing that I thought is kind of fun. I'm kind of interested, and this is like a topic that's been on my mind off and on for years now. I've always thought about doing a video about it, but I don't know if I'll ever actually get around to it. I might still do it. I don't think this will exclude me from doing it, but I've always thought it'd be interesting because most of the holidays in America kind of suck. Like most American holidays are pretty lame. Like a lot of them are like geared towards like either like kids or like they're just like not really like no one really gives a shit about them. Like
my favorite holidays are Halloween,
like Arbor Day or something. No one cares about that shit. You know
dude, like, dude, I totally agree with you. It's like International Cookie Day is like.
So what I was kind of wondering is there? I thought it'd be kind of cool to think about like getting rid of like just imagine the slate is wiped clean of all existing holidays, and America needs some new holidays. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of holidays would you give America? And also, in that process, could you maybe even try to use some of these holidays to solve or at least ameliorate like some social issues that exist in this country?
Here's the number one thing about a holiday.
Yeah.
When people in America talk about a holiday, it's like the store will be closed for Thanksgiving, which they increasingly haven't done. But let's even say they do. Let's be generous and say corporate America all agrees now in the wake of the pandemic to close their stores on one day. One day for a holiday, in my opinion, is inadequate completely.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Like, back in like Roman times, there was like weeks and shit. Like that's number one. What I want, right. I want shit like that. I would remake that in the sense of like people have way more fucking time off, and like we have big cultural events that people celebrate in a sense that's a really big sense of building community and kind of looking at social relationships in a different light.
So go back to like a more traditional idea of a holiday where it's like a festival that lasts like a week or two rather than just like, we'll have a special day.
I mean, the term Roman holiday refers to going somewhere for like a couple months.
Right.
Yeah.
Like there's actually a movie called Roman Holiday, an old movie that's about, a dude that goes or whatever for a couple of months. So, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I totally agree. One day is bullshit, especially when it's like in the middle of the week, because as a former 9-to-5er, like that's bullshit.
Yeah, it's like, whatever.
Like tack it onto my weekend, make it a Monday or a Thursday or some shit.
Yeah, at least give me a 3-day weekend out of this shit.
Another thing I would totally want to break away from the holiday, I'm not saying there could be none of it, is the problem with the American holidays is they all just fuel more consumerism.
Yeah.
And to me, and that's rarely, it's like Christmas, feel all this immense social pressure and go into debt to buy gifts for people. It's like, that's not really what it should be about. I mean, I know it's cliche to say that, and I fully acknowledge that, but like, I hate the idea of people going broke. And like Taylor told me about someone like her ex-husband's family, like her like basically like her mother-in-law would like pay, like she'd spend like $25,000 on Christmas for everyone in the family and all this stuff. And then be like, I worked the year to pay that off. And it's kind of just a massive, just excessive consumerism instead of just spending.
Man, that is like that's corporate America's wet dream right there, dude.
Hold on, dude. Did Scotty's heart just grow 2 sizes today? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without biffers and boffers and bags.
I don't
no
think that's...
doodles and no schnoz wingers. No tin doodles and no poing dangers.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you go, I mean, like a lot of people have, and we've all gone over here, especially in this fucked up country, this pandemic, and it's like you really have to consider what's really important in life. And if you think it's a bunch of junk, it's not. And that's the whole thing. I'm not saying I would never buy anything, but it's like you, Paul, you getting that camera is a perfect example. Like you bought something, but it holds a special meaning to you, and it's like something that you really, really desired, and something that you were really sure. It wasn't like just some disposable. Like, how many people bought cameras like just on a whim? Like, oh, I'll put on a credit card, I'll buy a camera for $4,000. Yeah, cool. Oh, it's lame, whatever, throw in a box, and that's it.
I basically window shopped for 10 years and then finally.
So I have an idea for a holiday. It's basically just Halloween, but on steroids, and I don't know exactly what you'd call it, but I'm thinking Redistribution Day, maybe. And it's where the billionaire class in America feels compelled to send checks to everyone else in America. And if we don't feel like we've received enough tithings from them, then we go and burn their mansions down.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I had a pretty good idea that I think you could get behind, too, for a holiday.
Hell yeah. Let me know.
You know how, like, we've got Fat Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
I think that the next Tuesday after Fat Tuesday should be Fat Ass Tuesday.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's just like, it's fine for one day for ladies to just walk around in G-strings, you know? And if they are walking around in G-strings, it's seen as an implicit invite that you can walk up and give that booty a smack and watch how it reacts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, not like going there and beat the fucking shit out of it or something, but, you know, you can give it a nice little hearty, like, boom. See the fucking ripple going. Yeah.
Get some nice man bubble butts out there, too. I don't want to make this female.
Yeah, why not? You know, like, you ain't got to be fucking...
Anybody, you don't even have to have a big fat booty. Yeah. Just a booty out day.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And then, you know, no social pressure. If you don't want your butt out, you don't got to do it. But, you know, if you want it, it's today's the day to do it. Today's the day where we all share a camaraderie, a holiday of butts. Everybody fucking celebrates butts.
Walk around, give a snack.
A holiday and a festival for farts, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Fart day would be great.
Oh, dude, they're not honored enough in this culture, dude. Like, have a big thing. Everyone eats, like, really fibrous foods. Everyone's farting throughout the streets.
You know, we just wait till whatever fucking time of year broccoli is in season, and we'll just have, like, Fart Fest for, like, a week. You know, we get all the fartiest foods together. Everyone fucking intentionally gives themselves gas. We can have big fart contests and competitions. Everyone gets together and farts.
Maybe we could just have, like, another Halloween-like holiday where it's, like, fart or treat. Where, like, in preparation for the couple of weeks before... you know, fart or treat day, kids eat like nothing but black-eyed peas and broccoli, you know what I mean? And it's just like fart or treat, motherfucker. And if you ain't got no candy, then they just blow a big fucking poof of ass into your house.
Yeah, that'll fucking incentivize you to fucking stock up on Milky Ways.
I like it, dude. I like it.
Yeah. I like extortion-based holidays like Halloween. That's like my favorite. I feel like all holidays either need to celebrate something that's actually worth celebrating, like butts or farts, or they need to have an element of extortion where, like, you know, give me something or I'm going to do something bad to you. And it's totally legit because it's a holiday. You know what I mean?
About Purge Day.
What's that?
About Purge Day.
You know, I thought about the Purge Day. I think that I think there's too many people in this country that are just like, they're too weak. Maybe that's why they need to be purged. I don't know. But I got too big of a heart to see them all die. So.
It's not only the weak people, though. You got to think about it. Like, there's a ton of people right now that are just waiting to be mass murderers. You know what I mean? They're like a tea kettle with the fucking lid closed, and they're like, Purge Day would let those types of fucking people blow off a little steam.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Let them fucking. You know what? Maybe we try it with like we'll ease into the Purge Day. You know, like we'll start with like. Shoplifting's okay day, you know, and fucking work our way from there.
I'm fine with that.
You know,
as long as we get a foot in the door.
You know, just start introducing elements of lawlessness bit by bit. We'll work ourselves up till you can do whatever you want, including
legal murder wasn't built in a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, you can't just go from like everything's normal to now we're just gonna like murder each other one day of the year. You know,
I think it's more like a Running Man sort of thing.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe.
think we're necessarily going to be that lucky. To get like a purge day. Oh, excuse me. I mean, that'd be horrible. Please let that day never come.
I mean, you know, 90%. Okay. Like, the purge thing too would it would kind of turn into another big consumer holiday, as like everybody who's, especially the wealthy, stocking up on defensive measures for their perimeter and shit.
I'm actually, this is not really a holiday, but it's kind of reminded me of it. I'm actually looking forward to the return of the blood sport, the genuine blood sport, because it's just like, for me, we watch football.
Yeah.
We know what it does to these dudes. It scrambles their fucking brains and turns them into vegetables and shit. I mean, what's worse, getting your head lopped off in a gladiator fight or living the last 20 years of your life not knowing who or where you are? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Yeah.
What's the point? Like, let's just get over this whole aversion to violence as long as everybody signs up. Like, I don't want to go back to the Roman, like, we're using slaves type of thing, you know, but like voluntary people. And once again, would that not give some of the fucking more dangerous people in our society a way to blow off steam?
Yeah, you know, let them go fight it out in the arena for our entertainment.
Yeah, I am a badass. They run out, head chopped off. Oh, he only made it 3 seconds, tying a course record of time of death.
And I mean, you could build holidays around it. You know, you have like maybe one day a year where it's like you do all the best fights, like put all the biggest, best fucking badass names against one another.
I think we're always kind of getting to like, look, if we're gonna ape ancient Rome, at least give us our bread and circuses.
Oh yeah, we definitely need to fucking amp up the bread and circuses in this country.
Like, can anybody deny that they had better bread and better circuses than we do?
Fuck no.
I feel like the type of shit we get, like, would have probably enthralled them with all the crazy shows and shit. But isn't it thin gruel in comparison to the Colosseum? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, back then too, Paul, we had way less of a problem with at least that Roman society had way less of a problem with exploitation. Like, it doesn't matter if people are being exploited.
Like, it's like everybody loves Raymond, the Roman Colosseum.
Sands of the Colosseum.
Just combine them both and put you know, Ray Romano in there, you know?
Put Ray and Deborah in there. Deborah, what are you doing? Come on, it's me, it's Ray.
She's got an axe, you know? She just fucking lobs it into his head. It's fucking brilliant. You know, it's great.
A lot of times gladiators did not necessarily die, but we can definitely go.
Well, that's true. I mean, like, you don't want every match to be to the death, but you know, every now and then, you know, you throw some death matches in there.
Well, that's their main event, dude. The main event, it's like, who will win the $10 million cash prize?
You know, like, imagine, like, you know, Brock Lesnar versus, I don't know, whoever's top dog in UFC right now, and they fucking fight to the death, you know?
Yeah. Why not?
Give Brock Lesnar an axe, give the other guy a fucking spear, and let him go at it. Let's see what the fuck happens.
Fucking MMA is one step from that. I've watched MMA and I've seen people get fucked up so bad that I'm like, that dude's dead. That dude's fucking dead. Look at him. He probably dead. Now, usually they ain't. People have died in MMA matches, but
sure.
You know what I mean? Like, they usually don't, but I mean, the fucking violence is there. The intent is there. You're beating a dude until he literally can't move and is bleeding out of every orifice. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, just bring it to the next level. Quit fucking pussyfooting around it, you know?
The only thing missing is the coup de grace, man. What's the problem?
Not every time, but, you know, often enough that, you know, it keeps it exciting.
Let them do it.
Keeps it fucking interesting, you know? It's a magical world we live in. All right. Well, that's 2 hours. That's a good show, right?
That's a show.
It's a fucking show if I ever seen one. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time. More Deep Fat Fried.
Bye.
Bye-bye, y'all.